All right, we're recording right now.
All right. Well, here we are.
So my main thing that I like to get just a baseline, right? What is the meaning of life?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think the meaning of life is just, on a very basic level, is love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're all here to embody that with the gifts that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, kind of encompasses, and I think some people are doing it well, and other people are clearly still on their journey to embody that.
So when you reach, so when you are fulfilling this purpose and meaning to actually love, then what? What does loving do?
Well, I think, love is a lot of different things, right? It's, love for yourself, love for others, love for the planet, love for all kind, animals and all kinds of things. And so I think that wow, this is like, you just started off hard. I have to really think. I don't think I don't think there's like a goal that is reached, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we just always find new ways to love more and to embody that in a more authentic way. And as we grow and we learn and we heal our souls, we're able to do that and to be able to love other people in different ways than we were before while we were carrying our own baggage.
Mm. So individually we have a goal, right? And that's to love. Mm-hmm. But as a human family, is there a particular goal that we should all be collaborating and working on together?
I mean, for me, I think that the goal is to see each other as the kind of perfect souls that we are. Mm-hmm. And to be able to show compassion for one another and to recognize that, just because you're in a certain place doesn't mean that someone else is there also. And just because you experience something some way doesn't mean that you have to prescribe that to everyone else. Mm-hmm. And being able to really, it's that compassion for each other. And to be able to understand that we are very different and diverse, but also the same. As we are all souls that came here to this earth with a purpose.
All right. And just kind of bouncing around a little bit, but just so love, right? Mm-hmm. How I give love isn't necessarily how you receive it.
Right.
So,
yes.
So how do we find this commonality of being able to receive the love that somebody is actually giving you? Like, what is your love language?
I think, I've thought about this before, and I think my love language over the years, I would have told you, was very different than it is now. And I think now, being, we look at there's the book about the love languages, and there's like certain love languages in there. But I think that the way that I receive love from other people is when they are willing to see me as I authentically am without judgment. Mm-hmm. That's how I receive love. So whatever way that comes to me is how I receive that love. But I hear what you're saying that, some people, this is even parents to children, right? Mm-hmm. Parents, they want to love their kids, and so they do certain things.
They buy them a gift, but the kid wants time.
Right. Or they're like, here's a cupcake and the kid wants a hug. Or
right.
Here is, or I'm going to set boundaries and rules, and the kid, and that's not what the kid needs at that point in time.
Right.
And, but I think that there are lessons to be learned in that. And I think when we come, we just get on a very, very higher level here real quick. When we come into this world as the souls that we are, we also, I believe, are choosing the people that we're interacting with. We're making those contracts before we come in. Right. And so when we get here, sometimes those are the lessons that need to be learned.
Mm. And are we learning these lessons for elevation to a new realm. So when we pass from here,
Mm-hmm.
all the things that we accomplish and learn on a spiritual level,
Mm-hmm.
are those things like added to your soul, and then you are able to what? How do we use these things that we learn in the next realm or afterlife? Or
I think, and I don't have all the answers clearly because, and I don't think if somebody tells you they have all the answers, I mean, I think they're kind of
yeah, but
shit.
this isn't. I don't want you to think like I'm asking for an absolute answer, but I'm asking you just what do you think? Because that's what we're here for. I think
that if you can learn some lessons here that you came here to learn, that when you re-embody after you pass, you won't have to learn those lessons. You may have new lessons that you need to learn, but you won't have to learn those lessons again. And I think that there are souls that probably, and the problem is that, you create these contracts and you're like, okay, I'm going to do these things with these people. And everybody is like, okay, I signed my contract, let's go. And then you get here and then you don't know what the contract is because you're not allowed to remember. And so you have to spend this time kind of working through it and coming to a place of re-knowing, right? And through that is how you are making sure that you are fulfilling those contracts and learning lessons that you're supposed to learn.
I wonder how far soul contracts extend. So do they extend, like, do me and you have a soul contract for us to meet at this point in our lives and for you to give me this direction or for me to give you?
Yes.
So it extends everybody that you come in contact with. You think that you had some?
I think there is something
soul
there.
Contract.
There's something there to learn from everybody that you come in contact with.
But is everything already established that you would do this before you guys come into this existence?
Well, there's free will, right? So we come onto the earth and we don't remember our contracts and we have free will to do whatever we want, right?
Do we? I mean, if we got soul contracts already in place, are we just acting out a script?
You're going to be pulled in certain directions. You're going to have the gifts that you came with. So that's going to kind of help you navigate. However, you could do things to make it so that you aren't learning the lessons. Like, for instance, I have had to learn the lesson several times. Like I've been divorced twice. Okay. And there were certain lessons that I wasn't learning. And so after the second divorce, I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. Why does the same pattern keep happening? Right. And so I feel like I've uncovered some of that and I've been able to understand it and I've been able to kind of get on the other side of it and not repeat. But also there are, had I decided not to do that, I could just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I have the free will to not look at what is being presented to me.
But were you supposed to soul contract with these divorced husbands like anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have had to be in relation with them for something, but maybe it would have had to
definitely the second one. I mean, I'm saying definitely the first one. You had to have been meant to be separated from him.
Right.
Because if you had a contract with the second one, then he would actually have to come into play at some time.
Right.
So did you have a choice to did
you had a choice?
How though? I don't know. You didn't.
Maybe not. Maybe we don't have a choice. Maybe we're just like going along and doing the things. But I do feel like and maybe you've experienced this too, but I feel like there's been times in my life where I've done something that I look back on now and I'm like, who the hell let me do that?
Man,
like that was so drastic and crazy, and it changed the whole trajectory of my life in almost an instant.
Yeah.
And I think it's times like that where it's like the universe is like, bro, you need to pivot.
Right.
And I just did it. And
the pivot in a good way.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes sometimes the pivot had to be like some real bad shit happened,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've got to do something different.
Yeah.
And I think, I call those the tower moments, but I think that some of that is just like, you're not learning the lesson. Like, you're not learning the lesson. So we are going to make this so in your face.
Mm-hmm. That you have to.
Yeah.
So who gets a chance to experience at least the opportunity of a tower? The opportunity of a tower, even though we looking at this thing, is like, it might be tough, but you still have an opportunity as a wake-up call. I mean, it's a hard notification, but yet and still you get a notification instead of death. So is death worse than the tower?
The way that I look at it now, and I think that they both
Is life worse than death?
Is life worse than death?
Is anything better than death?
Are we talking about death in a real sense or death in the tarot?
I don't know. I'm talking about like
real death.
I'm talking
death.
about
like
real
my heart
death.
is not beating anymore.
Yes, because now when you get this tower card, it seems like that's a judgment that you are going to have to fucking live with. And it's against your will. Like, you don't want to go through whatever this shit is happening to you.
Right.
It's a prison damn near.
Right.
All right. But now we have death. Is death freedom now from all of these restraints and bullshit that we got to go through?
I mean, I look at death as being death and rebirth, right? So it is, in a way, it is a transition and it is a freedom. And I think that, as our human selves and this meat suit that we walk around in, a lot of people are afraid of death. They're afraid of dying. And I get that. Because we don't know. Like, I can sit here and tell you what I believe will happen after I die and what happens to souls, but and I will say that I know that to my core, but not everyone does, and not everyone can trust that, and I can't tell you 100% that that's, you know what I mean, like
right.
So we don't know, since the unknown around death, but I feel like, living life well, learning the lessons, and dying, it's just part of the process. Our souls have done it over and over and over. Like, we've done this before. We just don't remember.
Right. But then the game, it's like, okay, but why are we doing this over and over and over again? Like, what is the purpose in continuing to do it over? Okay, and well, let me add another component to that. So, since we are doing this over and over and over again, we know that one piece of this is for us to elevate our consciousness in order to become better.
Right.
Better to do what?
I think better to love, better to just be in the space of community with other people, to...
See, where I get to is this. When I contemplate us going through this circle of life and continuing to elevate, I come to a point where I say, okay, now, once we do get to wherever it is that we're supposed to do, this stage of enlightenment, where either we don't have the desires anymore, or whatever it is that we're actually trying to get to, unless it's impossible, when we do reach that, then what does God want us to do at that point?
Live in bliss.
I mean, as a human being, as a human being, or as a soul?
As a soul. This earth is, this is, some people call it the earth school. It's deep. I don't think earth is meant for, we can have joy here. We can have immense joy here. We can have abundance here. We can have love here. But it's nothing like being just your soul without this, because you got to figure, you're your soul, right? Yeah. And when you're not embodied, you have a freedom about you because your soul can just move through the universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have this body, you're like tied down. Your soul's kind of like, ugh, why do we got to carry this body around all the time? Like, we got all this other stuff to worry about.
And what time do we experience when the soul isn't attached to the body? When we dream?
You can, I've heard of people doing like astral travel, basically. Mm-hmm. So you would, your soul would kind of leave, your consciousness would leave your body,
right?
While you're asleep. It's still tethered to your body.
Yeah, you got like a cord that connects you to you, so you won't just float off.
Well, yeah.
Well, why is that necessary though? Doesn't that seem like a little like?
It does, but I also wonder, like, I hear that there's like a cord that tethers you, and all of this is just, we have to remember all of these like rules around how the soul works. Mm-hmm. We had to make up as humans so we could understand it, and it's so much more vast than we can ever understand with our human brain.
Right.
I
wonder what we're doing here so much, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of. I don't know. I'll tell you one of my theories. Mm-hmm. You want to know?
Yes.
Okay.
I love to hear a theory.
Okay. So, when we're talking about just elevating to this next level, and we're going through this circle of life in order to just get better and learn lessons, right? Mm-hmm. I think that it could be for how the Creator wants to position us in whatever's next. So I'm not sure if there's a war going on. I'm not sure if there's some type of situation running, and we're met with all of these different challenges in life to figure out who can persevere through what. Even somebody who is just a killer, a ruthless person. Mm-hmm. That person will be assigned to a job that's necessary for them in the next level of life, whatever it might be. And Earth is a school. Mm-hmm. Earth is almost like an experiment to see who will be good at what. And then these philosophies of God and the devil, not God, but just the devil, as to why the devil actually exists. If we really want man to be able to live righteously, because without the devil and the temptation, then it seemed like it would be easier for us to live right. But without us having that distraction, there would be no testing of the metal. So since we have to be tested, now the Most High can see what he's working with. And he says, okay, Ahava, I see you, that you can do this. I see how you interact with people and how you can gain trust from people. So I'm going to position you here in this situation. That's just a counselor for me. And then, Amber, I see how you do things. You are really tuned in with the spiritual side. So when people need a physician of the soul, I'm going to let them come and see you so you can fix their soul and get them back on track for them to be, confident in whatever it is that they're doing. Mm-hmm. Like the same things that we're doing here, we almost become promoted at the next level to damn near do these same things, but maybe for something that's more galactic. I don't know, because that would be my only explanation as to why we would be here and be put through so many different trials, to see how we'll be able to persevere through these things to know where we can be used later.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, but in the next realm, when you are tapping in and you are speaking to people who want to communicate with their loved ones, like, where are these souls?
I don't know where they are.
Have you asked?
No, I haven't. I probably should. I know, like the way that I experience that is that they, at that point, and this is a term that people use, the veil, right? They're on the other side of the veil from us. And I think that, again, it's just another way that, like, us as humans, we're like, we need to make sense of this. And so we're going to say that there's a veil here between us and people that have crossed over, other souls. But when I experience them, sometimes I can see them in my mind's eye. It's a rare day that I like see someone, like I'm looking and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a person, right? Like it's not generally how I experience that, or I just hear them, right? And then there's like kind of a knowing of like, oh, that's a woman, oh, that's a man, oh, that's multiple people, that kind of stuff. But I don't know, it's like I don't know where exactly they came from. And I use my guides to kind of like filter them in order to have that. But, sometimes other people's guides don't, sometimes they don't engage. And I don't, it's not like I go and.
Like you can't go and look for them. They have to come on their own. Right. So in this afterlife where guides can come through and chop it up with you, right? Is this a physical realm? Like, can they see each other? So if two people are pulling up wanting to talk to me, do they know that the other one is there?
Sometimes. I know that that's true sometimes because my guides can see your guides. Like, there are times where because I always use my guides as kind of a filter because I've had issues before where I haven't done that, and then I've had things come through that I'm like, oh, like no, I don't want you.
What are they doing though when they're coming through? What they're coming into your mind? You're like
again, sometimes I can just hear them, like not like you and I are talking. I can like hear them. It's kind of like in my head, but I know it's not my voice, if that makes sense. Like it's different. And then other times, like I will get a visual, like in my mind's eye, of someone doing something specific. And so sometimes that can kind of like clue me in to.
They show you an image.
Yeah.
An image of an event that took place in order for you to give reference to the person.
I'm trying to think if I've ever gotten an image of an event. I normally get an image of a person. I normally get it, and yeah, I can't think of an event that has come through as an image. I'm trying to. Sometimes I get events like when I have dreams, like while I'm asleep, and I'll wake up and I'm kind of like, oh. But for the most part, it's
mainly just hearing for the more frequently than it is getting images. Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting because I think a lot of people might want to have the ability to do what you do.
Well, everybody can do it.
Think so?
Yeah, absolutely. We all have the ability to tap into that energy. We all have it. It's just a matter of spending time learning how to tap into it.
Did you?
Oh God, yeah.
You wanted to be able to tap into it?
No. So I first started off doing a lot of meditation, and I started off reading cards, and a lot of people call it like an awakening type of a thing, and I kind of had that. And it was after my second divorce, and I had started to do meditation. I started to work on my chakras. I don't pronounce it correctly. I know I don't, but on my chakras, like I was doing a lot of like research on that. And then actually I started reading oracle cards first because I thought tarot cards were too scary and hard. So I was like, let me get some oracle cards. And then this lady that I used to work with.
What drove you to do that though?
I don't know. I think there was. So I've always listened to podcasts a lot, and I think that I heard somebody talking about something on a podcast around aura, and I was like, huh. And then I heard it again, and then what happened was this lady that I worked with, I mentioned something about it, and she was like, oh yeah, I read oracle cards. And then like all these people that I knew were like, oh, I do too, and I do, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, well I'm gonna try to do this, right?
Real stuff.
And I think, and I've always been tapped in since I've been a little kid. But I have turned it on and off, in my life because I've been fearful. when I grew up, I would have nightmares. Mm-hmm. They were nightmares, and like every night, and I was seeing things in my room is what it was. And but because of the way that I grew up in my
what type of stuff were you seeing in your room?
People. It was people.
Right.
And this is what's really kind of messed up. So I know now that those were my guides. Mm-hmm. Because my guides have shared that with me. Like, that was us, and we're sorry that you were afraid. But what happened was that me as a little kid, my mother and the home that I grew up in, my mom, my stepdad, very Christian, very like, they're anything that is a ghost is demonic, anything that is not, Jesus, an angel, whatever, is demonic. And so, I was having these nightmares, and I could very vividly see things at that point and was like terrified every night. I was told A, that wasn't real, and B, that anything that wasn't of God was demonic. Mm-hmm. And they had like our pastor, he didn't come and clear our house. Like, it was just very
really
strange. But that really changed.
Did you want them to do that though? I mean, to try to
clear the house.
Well, they was trying to help you though, right?
Right, they were, I think, but what it was doing is it was telling me that I was seeing, that I was either crazy for seeing.
But you was dreaming though. Were you dreaming? These were nightmares.
I was waking up.
All right, so
sitting in the room and like.
So that's what I'm saying. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm lost. You were having nightmares, or no? They're not nightmares. Because a nightmare to me is a scary dream.
Right, and I would have nightmares, but I also was seeing things in my room. So it was like that, when you sleep and you're kind of like awake. Mm-hmm. It was like that state.
Right.
That I was seeing things in my room.
So you told your parents, like,
I'm having a nightmare.
I'm having a nightmare, or did you describe it as a nightmare, or did you tell them that you were seeing stuff?
I told them it was a nightmare because that's the only vocabulary I had for what was happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But then they still took it serious enough to try to get a pastor to come over and try to just
sent me to counseling at school. Mm-hmm. They did all kinds of things.
This was serious. This was a serious thing that you was going through.
Right.
It wasn't like a one or two type thing.
It was like every night.
Every night?
Every night for a good long time.
So why would your guides be scaring you that bad like that though?
And here's the thing. I'm not 100% sure that always that was my guides. My guides said that they were there. Mm-hmm. But so here's another thing. So I, up until really I was probably about, 35, I was terrified of the Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. Because my nightmares were about the Wicked Witch of the West. Mm-hmm. That she was coming in my room to hurt me.
Yeah.
Right? And so it just was, I know now that there were entities in that room, mm-hmm. and that's what I was experiencing. And whether or not those entities were all the time were my guides, or sometimes were other things that I didn't understand, they scared me. And so as I grew up, kind of like turned that off.
Mm-hmm. Your guides could have been there to protect you from the. What do you think the other stuff wanted though?
I don't know, but I'll tell you. So I lived in several different houses, and so that's the first house that I remember that being a problem in. Mm-hmm. We moved to another house. I also had ghosts in my room there. Mm-hmm. They would like turn the lights on and off. They had knocked over. You remember when you would have those stereos with the giant speakers and the big tower? And
yes. Oh yeah.
Knocked a whole tower over one day. And
what did your mom say?
I don't think I told her about the speaker, because here's the thing: if I would have told my mom that,
it would have been more
of a problem.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but I would tell her, and like there was a whole back part of the house that like sometimes I was like, ooh, I'm not going back there. Like it's creepy back there. Like I just knew, and I remember being like a teenager and just being like, oh, that's weird, whatever. And just like trying to chalk it up to nothing.
Right.
But I left there after I got married and moved to Germany. And that house the apartment that I lived in there was an old Nazi barracks. It was on a military base, an old Nazi barracks. That apartment was haunted.
Yeah.
Then we moved to another
What
apartment.
is that? Nazi barracks. What is that?
Where the Nazis barracks are like where they would live, like the military living space.
Okay, yeah. There it is.
So
okay,
it used to be where the Nazis lived, and then they turned it into a U.S. base.
Damn.
Yeah. So I mean, no shock that like something would be there, but I experienced it.
Kinda. I mean, yeah, maybe. I'm not saying maybe that it was, but not necessarily. It ain't like it was like an Indian burial ground, because there's a lot of activity there though, right?
Yeah.
America's like down there in Indian burial ground in itself, isn't it?
Yes. And there's activity, there's activity everywhere for the most part.
I wonder what those ghosts, or maybe the guys was trying to protect you from the other entities, but I wonder why they were seeking you out to bother you.
Well, here's what I know now, just kind of as I've gotten more into this work, and I am, I feel like I have a little bit more control. I know how to put up some spiritual boundaries, and and I'm better at that, and I'm more purposeful with it.
Mm-hmm.
But first off, when you're a child, you already shine really bright. Like your energy shines really bright because you're a kid. Like you haven't had all the mud slung on you like adults have, right? So always spiritual things are going to children can see. I mean, that's not uncommon for you to hear a child say like, oh, I saw this, or oh, I saw this relative after they passed, or they have imaginary friends that are like, ooh, are those really imaginary? So for children, it's just easier, I think, for them to connect with children in some ways. And then as we get older, I think we start, kind of putting up those shields or being like, oh, that wasn't real, and we stop attending to it. But now as I kind of have reopened that space, I have to put up those boundaries, because as I work on my spiritual health, and I feel like progress is the wrong word, but like I'm just shining brighter is what it is. And so these souls know, like they're like, oh, her, she'll see us, right, and so they come. And I mean, I have time every morning when I meditate, and that is my boundary. Is like if something needs to come, it needs to come during that time. Like I am not available all the time unless I say I am. I do sometimes have things come through at other times, and I have to just I have to really stop and be like, not right now, and and then set up that energetic boundary around me. Sometimes I have to call in my guides and be like, all right, I need you to surround, because this isn't okay.
So in your work, you social work?
Yes.
Okay. And you are dealing with people that are going through some trials in life, for the most part, right? Are there guides trying to get messages to a lot of your clients all the time to try to turn them around? Or
no, I don't. And that's the thing, I put up that boundary. That is not when I am there to work with a client or with the staff that I supervise. I put up the boundary.
You put up a boundary that says not available.
Yes, I am not available to channel right now. No.
Dang. Okay.
No. Now, sometimes, I mean, and that's the thing. I can be like, I'm not available to channel right now.
They come
However,
anyway.
Sometimes I don't know they're around, but I may say something in a certain way to someone that impacts them if I wouldn't have said it, if I would have said it more than if I would have said it differently. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that is some of that like universal energy or the guide energy being like, you got to say it this way.
Can a demonic force harm a human being? Can they do anything to you?
I don't, I hear things on both sides of that. I've not had a ton of experience with things that are demonic. I also feel like
why would that thing knock over your what do they
get my attention?
Like, hello. Okay, but like what do they want?
I don't know, because at that point I didn't know to ask.
Right. I wonder
they probably was like, please ask us what we want.
Yeah, like I wonder what these souls want.
Right.
I mean,
and maybe, and sometimes they're just like, we just want to tell you that we're here. Maybe it's, I see what you're doing and I want to like warn you of something. Or
can they? Do they know the future?
I don't know, but they can certainly see more than we can.
They can see more than we can. They can see more than we can, but can they see the future? And if they can, then that goes back to the free will shit. Like, what could they possibly warn you about? Like, if they see the future is set. Or they could say the way that you're going, mm-hmm. if you don't change, then these are the things that could happen.
Right.
But that's almost what a regular person could tell you the same shit too. Like you could tell yourself that.
But right, you could tell yourself that, but then, how much more impactful is it if you hear it from your dead grandma? You know what I mean? You're like, shit, I better listen to that.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it is. Damn, I wonder what. So now, but there is an afterlife though. When you die, you don't just stay asleep and it's over.
I don't think so.
Does it work?
Is afterlife work? I mean, it sounds like it is. If you got to sit down at tables and make contracts with folks, it feels like it probably is some work.
That's wild. It's more work.
Yeah. We just keep doing it. Just keep going.
Forever. Keep going. Shit, man. How does that make you feel to hear that? To come to the realization that you'll never stop working.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing: when you're doing the work that you love to do, it doesn't really feel like work. You know what I mean? I think about one of my mentors. We were talking about soul contracts, and she said one of her teachers told her that think of it as, all of these souls sitting at this boardroom table, and some people have, a one-page contract with you, and some people have contracts that are like a book, and those are the bigger contracts. Those are the ones that are harder to fulfill. Those are the ones where maybe that person is going to have to be mean to you or to do something to get you to learn a lesson. And they agree to it. They sit at that table and they're like, I love you so much in this soul form that I agree to do this to help you learn this lesson. And you're both like, okay, here we go. We're going to sign it with smiles on your faces, right? And then you come into the world.
And you're like, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, and
what the fuck did you do that fucking bull? You did some bullshit.
Right. But I also think too.
But can people break the soul contracts and do some extra shit that they wasn't supposed to?
Oh God, yeah. Or they could not do their soul. They could just be like, fuck it, I'm not doing my soul.
But they didn't know.
But they don't. But you don't know whether And I think too, like. I think about soul contracts and a lot of times you move through lifetimes with the same kind of like core group of souls. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people have experienced where it's like you meet someone and you're like, I just know you. There's no reason that I should know you, but I just feel like I know you. Like I know that I trust you. Mm-hmm. I know what you're about. And you just kind of click with them. And I think sometimes those people they're your soul family. You're like, oh, okay. Found you. Mm-hmm. Come on. I got some more folks over here.
But damn, think about all the people that you deal with social
Mm-hmm.
working
Mm-hmm.
and all the people that you helped.
Mm-hmm.
Like you was contracted to help them before
Yep.
you guys ever came into contact with
Yep.
each other.
And they were contracted to teach me something.
All my customers, I established a soul contract with them before we were born. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Damn, did I do that? Why would I go and deal with all these people?
So you can learn the lessons.
Why are you dealing with so many different, I'm learning lessons from them. What the fuck am I learning? I'm learning I don't want to deal with people. That's the only lesson I'm learning. Like, damn, leave me alone. Damn, and you got to deal with people alive and now people that passed away.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes, yeah.
And so, like, what about this journey makes you excited? Like, because you're taking it to the next level. Like, you're helping people on and off the court, per se.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like at this point in my life, I see myself as my soul up leveling, in being able to live more authentically than I think I ever have been able to do in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have nearly as much fear, nearly as much anxiety, nearly as much regret as I used to, because I've done this work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to uncover these pieces. And I do feel like that I am living more in my purpose now than I have before.
Real shit. Damn.
And I know there's more. That's the thing. Like, I'm, though I'm like, oh, this is really good and this is really cool. Like, I know there's more. I know there's more to unfold. And I know that if you talk to Amber in 5 years, she's going to be doing different things than I am right now.
Yeah. Do souls have relationships with each other? Like, can I be married in the afterlife with somebody else?
I don't know why you would be.
Well, I don't know. So companionship isn't a thing?
Well, so I don't think you need it like we need it in the physical sense. You know what I mean? Like,
what? Well, wait a minute.
Because
now.
your souls, you're there together anyway in this place that is, pretty much perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So the companionship, it's like you're just in relation with all the souls that are around you, I guess. I don't know, though. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I talked about this before, and I wonder is like if everything is equal, like if we all have the same value.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't know if about that. Because if everybody has the same value, I don't think that there's anything special there. So value is what makes things special. And if we're all the same.
Is it what makes things special?
I don't know. I mean, I could be challenged on it, but I think that when you share something just of your own or make it unique in some type of way, that's probably what makes things special. Mm-hmm. And you may value the uniqueness or the rarity of something. Mm-hmm. And I think that for everybody to be content equally is one thing. But if everybody just has the same thing, just from my way of looking at things right now, I just like, damn, I don't know. Is that heavenly? It almost seems like you need to have some type of something to yourself. I don't know.
Well, I think
what am I missing?
I think we all have different gifts. I think we all have different ways that we put spins on what we have to offer from our soul and the lessons that we've learned. Because we have to remember, like, we've learned these lessons, right? Mm-hmm. And so we've all learned different lessons. And then from those lessons, we now have some gifts that we can share. And we put our own special spin on those gifts. But I think when we talk about the value of someone, everyone is enough. Everyone is enough. Regardless of anything, everyone is enough. Everyone is innately
everybody is
enough.
redeemable.
Yeah.
I think so too. But is anybody more redeemable than the next?
What do we have to be redeemed
from? I don't know. I mean, I think that people have to probably atone for certain things that they do. And being like, to redeem yourself, to me, means to just be valuable despite the bullshit that you bring to the table. Like how much does your good outweigh your bad? And if it doesn't, if you do more bullshit than you do good things, then I don't know if you are worth. Are you worth more? I mean, you have the possibility of being able to be good, but it depends on what you do with your choices, and that's what makes special.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's nice to think that everybody is the same, but everybody doesn't get out here and do the social work that you do. Right. People could give a fuck. Like, you're cleaning up society and making people have I mean, you can always look at it from one perspective or another, but the idea is that you are going in and trying to make people's lives better. They're coming to you normally asking you for these things, and you making the shit happen, giving them resources and stuff, compared to somebody who is just like not doing anything, or just taking away from society. Right. So don't you think that there is some level of value there?
Well, I look at it as we all have a different journey and a different path that we came in with, right? And some people are at different, I mean, we can call it levels or something like that, right? And like you said, there have to be some people that are brighter, and in order to have bright light, you also have to have dark in order to illuminate the bright light. Right. So there are people that are still at the level of needing to learn lessons and being on a different journey, but they allow
the bright to be what it is.
Yes.
Real shit.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean, like, I would never look at someone and say, you aren't worthy or enough, because you did play a part in this tapestry.
Yeah, like, you let me shine because of how fucked up you are.
Right. And also, maybe you had lessons to learn, so next time you come around, you'll be able to shine. Or you won't have to be the dark light. Or not dark light.
The darkness.
The darkness. Right.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, that's given, that is a positive way of looking at everybody's purpose. Like, yeah, you're here to be dark, so other people's value will seemingly be much better. But your value is just as important, because you are letting the good be good that it is.
You're creating the backdrop so we can see the light. You know?
Real shit. And that's what I was talking about with the devil, what God is using the devil for. He's using the devil to try and test the mettle of the people wherever it is that he wants to use them, so he'll know what he's working with.
Right. And to me, like, I don't really, I don't subscribe to a heaven or hell, and I don't subscribe to a God and a devil. And that's why when we were talking about, like, demonic beings, I'm like, I just think there are things that are lower vibration, and there are things that are higher vibration out there energy-wise.
So, okay. But are we a part of an intelligent design? Let me see if somebody's at this door.
Did you lock it?
Yeah, I did.
I knew that was yeah, it was Did I interrupt?
Oh,
come on. You get right here with us. You just try to I don't need to be on it. I'll just, like, creep over here. Okay.
Come be on our podcast.
No, you
It's like
cannot.
toasty warm in here.
I knew it. I
I
knew it was hot. See?
no.
You're
I
not.
love it. I
Well,
love you
I
to
love
sweat
heat.
just
I
a little
like
bit.
I like the heat too.
I like to sweat.
I do. I like to sweat just
to
a
be a
little
little
bit.
toasty.
Okay, come on, Jill. You got to scoot in now.
Okay, am I good? Oh, here, let me snuggle.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm already 100 feet taller than Amber. Can I put this down?
Yeah,
so I don't
yep,
look
right
giant?
there to the on that side where you're at. There's a little lever right there. Come towards, right around there.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Got
I got it. Okay. Yeah. All right, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, let's give just a idea where we were talking about heaven, hell, and God or the devil, and then I asked you, do you think that there's an intelligent design?
Yeah.
You know, I would think so, but I don't know. I think we are part of that. We are part of the divine. Like, I see it as just like
I'm listening.
I
to
am
you.
the divine, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, I guess.
Okay, but we're more than just here. Like, we are a complex.
Mm-hmm.
We're made of all of these different cells and
Mhm.
different
Our meat
things.
suit.
Our meat,
Our meat suit.
our meat suit.
Yep, that
No
we
doubt.
chose before we came in.
Indeed. Okay. All right. True. But it works.
Right.
Who created the meat suit to work, or how did the meat suit get here?
I don't know. I mean, I guess there has to be some type of if we think about the fact that if we are souls and we are part of the divine, how magical and perfect that is.
Mhm.
Why in the hell couldn't they have created meat suits?
So hold on. Oh, so our souls created the meat suits, or no? Is that what
I
you're
don't
saying?
know.
I might be
Like,
lost
I
a
don't
little
know
bit.
how it all came to be to begin
True.
with.
Right. I mean, I don't know either.
Maybe it was. Maybe there is one.
So,
I mean, I think there's a source. I do think there is a source that
Right.
that our souls are connected to and we are a part of, but I don't see myself as separate from it.
Right. Right. Not separate from it, but
But I'm
It's your-
embodied, which, kind of gives me a dimmer experience
you're not
of it.
you're not the complete totality of whatever it is
Right.
created you. You're just a part of something that created all things.
Right.
Right, no doubt. And I think that there was one question that I did have is what do you think God is? So even though you may not subscribe to God, right?
Mm-hmm. I do subscribe to God,
Mhm.
and there being a higher power and a higher purpose in that divine energy. But I just, and this is my own religious trauma, right?
Right.
I shy away from calling that entity God because in my mind that's a Christian God, and the Christian God that was presented to me was a God to be feared.
Right.
And I don't believe that. I just don't believe that.
No, I don't think so either. And I think that I talk to Jill about this sometimes. I think that the fear that's used, like it says, fear of God is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. Because you will go out and search whatever it is that's going to make God angry and not do those things. And that's the knowledge that you need to have. The knowledge to not get in trouble with God,
Right.
essentially.
But why?
Right. So what I'm saying is,
if I am God and God is me, who am I pissing off?
true.
And I think, the reason I don't like that is because it's why can't people just do good and be good?
Mm-hmm.
Just do it, as
Right.
opposed to the only reason I'm not being ugly to this person, I'm not hurting this person, I'm not doing these horrible things, is because I fear for where I personally will
Yeah.
end up.
Right.
And that's just,
It's bullshit.
I hate that.
If
And I
you're-
hate that there's people like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I went to, I don't know.
Here's the thing. I have a
That's
whole
real.
family of those folks. And the way that I've made peace with that, because, I don't want to be pissed at my family and be like, you all are being wild. The way I make peace with that is we all need to believe in our higher power in the way that works for us in this lifetime. And whatever it is that can move our soul forward on our journey. And for some people, they need those rules.
Ooh, like maybe I don't want to like rank anybody's journey,
Right.
But I want to say that maybe some people are in a place where they like inside of themselves cannot just be good to do good, that they have to do it out of fear. But maybe the next time around.
Right. And maybe this lifetime, they're working on something completely different. And so this is the way that they remain stable in order to work on that, on those contracts that they need to work on, in other places.
I feel like that's a really compassionate way.
And I think, too, I look at other religions, like, there, you've got Christianity, you've got Muslim, you've got,
Judaism.
Yes. And they're all like a little bit different, but I'm like, and they'll sometimes get pissed at each other, like, no, we are the one true way, right?
Right.
And it's like, you are all believing in the same thing. Like, P.S.
Yeah.
You're all believing in the same thing.
It's true.
You've just subscribed or prescribed a different set of rules.
I mean, you got different denominations of Christianity.
Yes.
You don't even need to go outside of Christianity
Right.
for it to be divisiveness.
Mm-hmm.
True. All of these things are
And
true.
if we look at the rules, honestly, like that, come out of churches, a lot of times, if you go back and look at the Bible, they aren't biblical. Like, there's not a whole lot. There might be a little piece in there that they've taken and twisted and been like, this is a rule now, right?
Hold on. Say it again. What are we doing?
With what's coming out of churches.
Oh, what's coming out of the churches?
Right.
They're
It's
not following the law of Leviticus or Deuteronomy.
Right. But
Right.
but we need to follow this thing over here. It's like we want to take parts of the book and not other parts.
The
of
only
book.
law that's normally followed right now is just the tithing law.
Yeah.
To just make sure you cash me out for this
Right.
shit.
Which is like also bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That like, to me, I look at it and I'm like, why can't everyone see that stuff was added in here to make this business profitable?
Yes.
I'll give you a breakdown though. So sacrificing is the real law, right? And that goes, we all sacrifice, and we see it in our daily lives. The things that we sacrifice, it almost makes us better. So you kind of like sacrifice what you like to get what you love. And so that is where some of this faith comes into play, whether you're doing it with money, whether you're doing it with, your time, whatever it is, you feel like if I don't do this, without knowing it's going to definitely happen, this will be the outcome. So you say, I'm not going to go out and drink all night. Instead, I'll, not do that for whatever reason. And I'd rather pass my test or whatever reason you're sacrificing something that you like in order to accomplish something more. And it's always faith-based. So kind of when you're taking that same philosophy and then just using it with money to a pastor and saying, okay, look, I'm going to give you this money, even though I know I need it to figure out some way that I'll be greater. They do it. They sacrifice money.
Well, here's the thing. If you came to me and you're like, Amber, I have $50 to my name, and I feel like I need to sacrifice something, so I'm going to give you $40, and I'm not going to eat, I'd be like, take your fucking $40 back. I would never.
I don't think it happens. I know we've all heard of stories we think like, why the fuck would you give this person your money and not have any left for yourself? But have you ever actually heard of a person going to church, giving the church their money and then not having anything left for themselves?
I have.
Yeah, y'all might have. Tell me. Let me hear
And I
about
think
it.
that's the difference. Like Amber and I have some, I don't want to speak for Amber, but Amber and I have some, I think, similar church trauma. Like the white evangelical church, I think is a different beast of its own. And there's a lot of shame there.
Oh, God.
Just shame. And there's like and it's capitalist in nature because it's American, right? And it's like, I know plenty of people that did not have money to, I don't know, like get their kids Christmas, or you know what I mean, or do like they have this tiny amount of like extra income, right? Like their bills are paid and they have a little bit left over, and the church convinces them
They give them
that
10%.
it needs to be given to them. And it feels gross to me because then you see like, you know, you have these like pastors that are making just like exorbitant amounts of money, right? And you have like these churches that have like these like fancy like gyms and like sound systems and like instruments and band shit and like
Where I grew up.
and it's gross because you do have people that are struggling and their money is going into this, and it's like this really gross, weird business. So I do think I've seen it. I think I've seen people bamboozled into like giving their extra income and their time and their energy to a church instead of pouring it into their family, instead of giving it to people who could really benefit from it. I don't know. I think there are some really gross churches out there.
I don't think you can ever go wrong having faith in God.
Oh, I agree. But I think sometimes these churches, like for me, like I grew up like very churched, like over churched, like churchy church. And that caused me for the entirety of my 20s to like hate God.
What were you learning in church?
That you need to be good and that you need to be pure and that you need to be
What is
perfect.
that? What does that mean?
That means like don't have sex. That means
Don't swear.
don't swear. That means like none of these things are acceptable, right? But as a human, you're gonna do them, especially as a teenager, right? Because you're like trying different things and you want to do different stuff, but it's not acceptable. So then you learn to lie about it, right? So then there's like this duality.
But then you lied, so
then you lie and now you're ashamed. So you have like these two lives, and you have the person that you're trying to be, but you have the person that you are inside, but you're constantly lying about the person that you're going to be. So you're just like shame spiraling all the time. And then, you know, and then I feel like I spent a lot of my 20s like rebelling against that, right? Like I'm allowed to do these things. Like I should be allowed to have sex. I should be allowed to drink. I should be allowed to swear, or to think things that, you know, might not be exactly what I was told to think. But then what was horrible about that is that it took me away from God, right? Because I equated God with that like oppression. And so thankfully, you know, I've done my own healing and my own work, and I've gotten to come back to God like without that bullshit. So I agree with you that like nothing about like believing in God or the divine or spirit or whatever you want to call them is bad, because having that trust and that surrender and that faith is always going to enrich your life. But when it comes with like the rules and the oppression of certain organized religions, it can be really traumatizing.
So what about if you could, because I don't know if the Bible is necessarily, and to me, I think the Bible is it's good. I think that it has value for what it should be valuable for, but then there's also a lot of waste in there, and there's some contradiction. There's bullshit in there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not just the Bible is not God.
No. Right.
Right? It's the Bible.
Right.
And it's got some stuff in there that's cool, and then it's got some other stuff in there that we definitely aren't doing anymore, and even the most devout Christian isn't doing.
Right.
By far. But what about if you did follow all of the shit that the Bible told you to do?
I don't know. I would not be happy.
You would.
I would not be happy at all. I don't know what I would have already burnt down to the ground. I mean, like, I would have been smited.
There's so many things. And to your point, it's contradictory. Like, how do I do everything the Bible says?
I would have been dead at like 3.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I mean, what's one main thing that you cannot do?
Well, there's all like the eating stuff.
oh my
You
God.
can't eat anything. I don't really know.
Okay, well, I can tell you all the things you can't do because I was told them every day of my life. No, I mean, like, don't swear. Don't think unpure thoughts.
Hold on, don't
be
swear.
around-
Where is don't swear?
I don't know, but that's what they told me, and I better not
I mean, but
swear.
I
I
don't
was
know if
going
that's
straight to hell. And
So are you talking about? Are you saying don't swear to God or don't say fuck that? Which one? What are we talking about?
All the above.
oh, and don't say Jesus Christ or God, like in a not.
Don't
You're
use-
not talking using their name in vain.
Oh,
Is it,
that
hold
is-
on, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
Wait now. I think that you guys need like just a better understanding and a breakdown of what some of this stuff means. Because
Well,
it's
no,
being
no, I
taught
get
to
it.
you wrong.
Exactly, but
yes.
when you're like 6 years old, you don't know that. You're like, shit, everything. Oh,
Yeah,
if I
but
said
that-
shit, I'm going to hell.
Yeah. But like using the Most High's name in vain doesn't mean saying goddamn or anything like that. That's, or like if you get frustrated and say Jesus, like it's almost like a failsafe because like Jesus, there's no J or E in the Hebrew language. That's not the true name of who we're even calling Yahshua, right? Or saying God damn, because God is not the name of the Most High. I mean, it's like he's almost like I could see that as being some type of like protection for you to not fuck up. Because even if you say God damn, they say, oh, you use God's name in vain. But God is more like a title. See, and it's not the name of the Most High. So even if you say that, then you can always come with that to say, hey, that's not even his name. So I think some of the shit that's being put on you guys is too overwhelming. And there is a scripture that says, be ye not overly righteous.
Wow. Lord have mercy.
They didn't
like
teach
it.
you
They
that
don't
one.
teach you that one. They
teach
don't tell you
not to
about
be-
that.
They're like, be righteous
Be
all
as righteous
day.
as
But not
possible.
overly.
But I think that's where you have to talk about the difference between organized religion, right, versus like spirituality and
Spirituality, yeah.
God.
Right.
Because I think what I know to be true is when you do read the Bible, like aside from all of like the cultural and I don't need like the cultural implications of like the white evangelical church. It's a totally different experience, right? It reads like a lot of self-help books. It reads like, you know what I mean? There's a lot to it, like, but in the way that it is twisted and taught, I think is really, really scary and takes things out of context and moves people further away from God, which is what's really sad, right?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
It is. And I think that, you know, there are some churches and faith traditions that I think are a lot closer to getting it right.
Yep.
But, I mean,
I think the cool thing about it though is like you guys are doing the right thing regardless. And then I think that level of understanding, like I almost look at the Most High as like just understanding. Period. And no matter what you do, it's always understood as to why you did that particular thing. And when understanding is there, then forgiveness is always possible.
Mhm.
You know, if you fuck up, you know, it is part of just your growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you didn't understand.
Right.
Or either that you may have understood, but for whatever reason, you were looking for happiness. Like most of our being here, the shit that we do is always rooted around that desire to be happy through sex, through, you know, drinking, through cussing, through expression,
Right.
through art, whatever it is that we're trying to do. A lot of times we just looking for just some peace, man, and some happiness. And I think that how my perception of God is just that understanding to understand why somebody did what they did and being able to forgive them. Forgive them, but I still don't know what we're doing here.
I have no idea what we're doing.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Damn, good.
I mean,
Okay.
I feel like I know, like, I'm like, while I'm here, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to try to be kind to people. I'm going to try to make it a better place.
Right.
I'm going to try to be,
Real
thoughtful and open and make good connections. But I don't know why the fuck I'm doing. I mean, that just seems like the right thing to do.
Right.
But what am I doing here? I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what we're doing? Amber is very wise. Do you know what we're doing
I don't know
here?
what we're doing, but I also feel
Amber is
like,
wiser than me, so tell us.
I also feel like, like we talked about with, I'm here to live authentically. Like, that's what I'm here to do. Like, if I can get to a more authentic place in my being, I will help raise the vibration of everyone around me.
Real shit.
And I will shine brighter and help other people shine brighter. Like, if I can move on my journey to living more authentically, other people will see that and learn from that, as the same way that I learn from people who are doing that in this space as well. And so I think that, like, while we're here, that is, is my purpose, but
and bring
why,
everybody.
I don't know, but the thing about it is it's like those things ultimately bring me joy. Those things ultimately bring me peace.
Right.
Those things ultimately will bring me abundance, and they will make it so that, I can, live in a way that is fulfilling.
Right.
And then hopefully help other people do the same.
Yeah.
Jill, we talked about when you passed away in the afterlife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be possible for you to link with somebody and be like in a relationship with somebody in the afterlife? And of course we don't know, but just what you think about that. Would you like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have this like beautiful idea that when I die, it will all become clear to me, right? Like all of my questions will be answered. All of the people I love in all different ways will be there, right? Like that is my vision. Is like I'm gonna like live.
And they will.
And they will. But the thing that fucks me up is like I believe in reincarnation, right? I believe that we come back again and again to learn different lessons and to get better and to like try to become our highest selves, right? But what fucks me up is like if I believe that when I die it will all become clear, but I also believe in reincarnation, then why the fuck am I here again and I don't know what is going on?
Because you can't remember.
But if I can't remember, then how will I ever know? Because so you're saying like for that moment I'll have clarity and then I'll be like back to the
how long do you want it to take for you to know all this shit? Like immediately, or would you like to go on like at least some bit of a journey to find out
like
all
maybe
of this
the
stuff?
next time I come back, maybe I'll have like an inkling of like a little bit, because it's like our it's like our brain, like our minds get erased when we get here. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
But maybe you don't get to keep that knowledge like until you make it, right? Like until you have your final journey or your final time and you like reach enlightenment, right? Maybe that time you get to die and like stay knowing, right? With all your people.
Yeah. What, there or here?
Up there.
But don't you want to know everything while you're here?
Well, yeah, I mean,
No. Let me tell you, you don't want to know.
Really?
You don't want to know.
Do you want to know more than what you know right now?
Yes,
though?
I always want to know more than what I know, but that's part of my journey is to surrender to the not knowing.
Shit,
It
I
is,
don't want
I
to
mean,
do it.
it's over and over and over again. I go see my mentor and we work together and I'll go in there and I'm like, damn it, I just need to know. And then I could, and she's like, Amber, are you going to surrender to the not knowing? Or are you just going to have faith that like you just need to take the next step and the rest will be provided to you? Like, damn it! No, I don't want you.
And that's what it's
I'm like, I'm about to get a new mentor.
Not good enough. That's I just like I think I have this beautiful idea that like when I die it will all become clear and somehow I'll get to like keep that.
No, you don't get to.
But I don't think you get to.
You don't get to keep it when you come here on Earth, because if we all knew it,
Me and Jill got the same idea.
I just like want it all and then I can
but
know.
you have it while you're
But
there.
that's like what keeps me going is I'm like,
Well,
then
why?
I will know,
But
right?
don't
But then I'm
everybody
like,
have
what
it?
am I doing?
But
back
everybody
here?
has it
I'm
while
not
they're
knowing
there.
anything.
Everybody has it while they're there.
Can't I just stay up there then?
I mean, maybe eventually.
Do you
we
want
can.
to?
Maybe
I mean, I don't
eventually.
know.
What's the
You think
point
it's
in
better
staying
than
up there and knowing everything? Like you need the knowledge here so you can like
You
have
think you
more
gotta
fun.
like grind through
Is
here?
it fun in the afterlife? Or no?
I think it's really fun, right?
Doing what?
I don't know what you
Everybody knows everything. Everybody's got the same thing.
here's
You're no
the
better
other
than
thing.
Well,
anybody
clearly
else.
people get bored because they keep coming back.
Well, I don't think
Exactly.
they're bored. I think that I don't think people are like trying to sign up. To come back.
It's awful
just
down
time.
here.
But I also think
It's not great.
think that like time is kind of a construct, and so we're all working on different. We're all working on parallel time. Like there's no. We're looking at this very linear. Like you're born, you die, you go to this place, you make some contracts, you're born, you die.
Yes, essentially.
It just
not like
doesn't
that.
work that
We
way.
said this last time in our podcast. That I don't think time works the way we think it
No,
works.
we
That we're probably living here in like in
And-
India, in like in Australia, in
Several
Africa.
timelines.
That I am like doing a lot of things
Right now,
over
right.
over a lot of over a lot of what we would call like the 1400s and the 1800s. Like I think
Right.
perhaps we're doing all that at this. I think time is something like time is the biggest mind fuck of all things.
Yeah, and it's a construct with that we've had to create as humans because how else are we going to organize things? Like we have to organize things in this physical realm, right? But you do hear about sometimes where there's like the glitch in the matrix, right? Where people
I've seen
are like
those videos.
yeah. And I mean, and I think if we think about it, there have probably been times in all of our lives where we're like, that was weird. Like, I just looked at the clock and it was 12 o'clock. And then I looked at the clock and it was 11:55. What the hell? Right?
Yes.
Where there's just been like a little like.
And the deja vu stuff, and,
Oh,
and then
God,
when you
yes.
know people are going to say things before they say it, stuff. Those are the glitches in the matrix.
Yeah.
Do you have glitches in the matrix? Do you have them?
Probably. I don't know.
Don't you
I
feel
have
like
moments-
sometimes where like I look at somebody and I'm like they're going to say this, and then they fucking say it, and I'm like, it's a glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've seen some shit like videos, like literal videos of glitches in the matrix where like a car appears out of nowhere. Have you seen that shit before?
No.
In the time, like the time travelers that they got on tape? Y'all have never seen that?
No, because I think that would just
Oh
make me
man,
anxious.
conspiracies. I know.
I love
Conspiracies are
Did you
sweet
ask
as
Amber
fuck.
about the moon?
Oh yeah, the moon is fake. The moon landing.
Do you
Have
think
you
the
seen
moon
that?
landing is fake?
I don't know if the moon landing is fake. Maybe.
I mean,
Have you given it much thought?
I haven't given it. I haven't.
Well, we will
You're with
convince
two
you.
people who have given it a lot of
Right.
thought.
I don't know
Right, I
anything
don't-
about the moon landing.
I might need to turn the
I
damn
wasn't
moon
there,
landing
so I
on.
don't want to comment.
Well, the only thing is, like, what they did was they used some like major technology for that period of time. But now, as time has advanced, and now we're looking at that shit, we like, bruh,
So Amber,
that was bullshit.
here's the problem I have with the moon landing is that if there were no videos of the moon landing, I think I would believe it more
Right.
than if there were videos of the moon landing. Because there was literally a video of the rocket, Apollo, whatever the fuck, taking off from the moon to like conceivably go back to Earth, right? But like how did that? Who took that video? Who took that
I've not
video?
seen that video.
Who
but
took that video? If we didn't have the internet in 1964, 6, whenever that was, how did it get back here?
Look, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Exactly.
I was just
None
curious
of
if
us
you've ever
know.
given it thought.
I've not given it thought, and now that I am giving it thought, I'm like, it doesn't even matter.
They don't.
Show her the video. Yeah. The rocket one.
It's the one. They got like a lot of bullshit to help, like actually find the easy video that I'm looking for. Like I always fear that this is gonna happen every time.
It's
I
gonna
for
go
it.
away.
Yeah, or something like I'm not gonna find the right.
My friends are always like, "Oh, here's Jill talking about how the moon landing isn't real." But
I don't know if it's real. I think there is a lot of bullshit things happening that aren't real. That we are being, fed a lot of the
Sure.
time.
But I wonder what's the point though? I mean, is the point to just be looked at as superior or make it seem like you just
Power.
major?
Power.
Mhm.
Oh God, power. People want power.
Right.
Power and control.
What's really interesting, so I went to Russia when I was like a teenager on a crazy church trip. Speaking of church,
Did you go there to proselytize to
yes,
Russians
to help the
Christians?
heathens love Jesus.
Okay.
Yes.
Crazy.
So I went there, and people are like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Dayton." And they're like, "You know what?" Everybody's like, "What the hell is Dayton? Where is Dayton?
Dayton?
What is Dayton?" Oh, here, watch this. I'll pause.
It's an army death today. I'm gonna get the pro. Burn away, Houston.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so
Show her the
there.
weird fireworks.
2, 1.
Ooh.
Burn away, Houston. Thanks for good.
But like, again, what's on the?
Why are they leaving him behind?
It's over. I hear you. Hey, Houston. Thanks
I mean, but okay. I just want to play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Somehow they are able to talk to Houston from where they are, so there is some type of relay. So could they have just left that camera on the moon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But how is it transmitting without? How's it transmitting?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like they're talking.
Maybe the next people went back to the moon, scooped up the camcorder.
Well, they've never
from
been back.
1965.
Right?
They've never been back to
They
the
were
moon.
like, here I am. Let's just set it
They're
down.
like, we're gonna put this camcorder on and just leave
tripod.
her running.
I mean, you do have a pan up here too. You have a pan.
you have a pan up.
Look, yeah,
they
it
pan it,
pans.
Amber.
It follows it.
1.
And a pan out,
Thanks for good.
and out and up.
Back
Huh,
spot.
that's fun.
So if this was now, I'd be like, oh, you have a camera that can track a moving object, that can transmit shit back via the internet.
Yeah.
My bicker with it is the explosion. I think that the explosion looks like some type of like corny effect that they would use.
The rainbow sparkles, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, I
bullshit.
would like to.
'Cause
think
do you
that
know
it
how
took
you-
off with rainbow sparkles?
Exactly.
Why don't I just have rainbow sparkles following
well,
me?
I'm saying like the shit that you need to take off from Earth. Have you ever seen a rocket blast off
Well,
from
yeah,
Earth?
they gotta have that whole thing, and it like blows apart at the.
And the pieces fall off.
So maybe you don't have to have that on the moon, but
well,
it's
the
just,
no
gravity
gravity.
is different. It's the same.
there's no gravity. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't.
It looks to me that explosion looks like it's just some 1972 special
Really
effects
cool stuff.
that if we seen it then we would be like, damn, that's sweet as fuck. But now looking at it 50 years later with all the movie effects and new shit that we got now, it looks like and the questioning of the like the flag waving on the moon, like there's a bunch of other details about the moon landing that people feel like is just fugazi. And that shit looks funny to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
looks funny to me too. But I also, and shame on them if they like created this and sold it to the world. But also, if this really is true, I don't want to be like Neil Armstrong. You are a liar.
Amber's like,
Right.
I want to go. I'm like,
Neil
Neil
Armstrong is a
Armstrong, you're
fucking liar.
You're a liar.
I mean, you might be, but also you might have walked on the moon and sweet. Like,
And I hope he did. Because
I do.
Not-
I hope he.
I
I
hope he
hope. I
did.
hope he did.
I
Right,
hope
I
he
do.
did.
I do.
If somebody held a gun to my head and said, Jill, do you think the moon landing was real? I'm going to kill you if you answer wrong. I'm going to say
There you
no,
go.
I don't think it was real.
Right.
But I don't know for sure. But no, what I was going to tell you guys. So when I was in Russia, I was like, hello, my name's Jill. I'm from Dayton, whatever. They're like, where is Dayton? Like, what is in Dayton? I said, oh, because I'm like 16, right? I'm like, we're famous in Dayton because we are home of the Wright brothers who flew the first airplane. And they're like, no, so-and-so and so-and-so flew the first airplane here in Russia. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like these silly Russians, right? Like they think that they, and we're like propaganda, right? Like they think they flew the first airplane. But now I'm like, who's to say that we're not the idiots, right? That we think we flew the first airplane. And that's where it's just like, how do we ever know
and why
that
does
what
it
we're being
matter?
told is, and you're right, it doesn't matter.
Like it's like we get stuck in these places where it's like, were you first? North Carolina or Dayton? Like
Right.
the ongoing fight. Who the fuck cares?
But I think
Well,
what
does
scares-
anything
what
matter?
scares
Does
me
anything
is like,
matter?
Is anything true?
Well, or does
anything matter?
anything matter? Tell me something that
Relationships
does
with
matter.
other people matter.
Ooh.
When?
Always.
Okay.
Kindness matters. Being compassionate to other people matters. Living in your truth matters.
So history really don't matter.
I don't know. I mean, it could. But it's like with this kind of stuff. Like, do I know if it's true or not?
No. I mean, you can use it to inspire. I think that if you feel like the Wright brothers did some shit right here from Dayton, and
That's
we're
cool,
from
right.
Dayton, then
And I'm
we
gonna
can
do
use
some-
that as
yeah.
inspiration to
Yes.
say, man, you know what? This is a serious place where creativity
Right.
thrives, and I'm right here.
Yeah.
But then if you take that away from somebody, it's like, no,
Like, no.
no, that didn't happen.
And then I just want to be like, creativity thrives everywhere, friends. Like, you came
Yes.
Boys,
here
we're on
with
Russia.
that creativity in your
Yes,
soul.
and that's
like,
what
just
you
go
need
ahead
to
and tap
focus
into
on.
that.
Damn.
Like, tap into the fact that you came from the same people, it's the same source that the Wright brothers came from, and you have the same potential.
No matter where they were, no matter who really did
Yeah.
it, it's
Doesn't
still the
matter.
same.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Well,
No.
one thing that we fight over, not fight, but we conspiracy theory. Like, when did all of this shit get built that we're a part of right now? Like, for example, like all of the cities and the buildings and the plumbing and like all of this shit that
The
we
sewers.
There's a lot of
Sewers
sophisticated
blow
shit.
my mind. The toilets fucking blow my mind.
Yeah, real shit.
Well, people got tired of digging holes. There were too many people.
But like, who was smart enough to build it? And maybe that's my problem. Is
That
I'm
is
just
some
not
shit.
smart.
Right.
Because I'm like, who figured that out? Who figured out how to get to the moon? Who figured out how to make sewers work?
Man,
Who figured out
toilets-
how to build a building that wouldn't fall over? Because I couldn't figure any of that out.
I
It
could-
was somebody's journey, and they did it.
If
And
none of
thank
this-
God they
so-
fulfilled that soul contract, because I ain't shitting
Because
outside.
I'm not trying to shit in a
Check
hole.
this out. Look,
But
if everything was taken away from you right now, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you remember all the shit that we had here, like if you was the last person on Earth, could you start some shit over? Like start a society over with buildings and electricity
I don't
and
know that I'd go that route.
electricity, fuck no. Maybe a building. I think I could build a building.
yeah,
Could I make electricity happen? No.
hell no.
You have to get struck by lightning first to know.
I don't know.
I don't want that.
Where can we get this information from? I don't know.
Either
It's
we are
wild.
just
I
not
couldn't do
we
it.
are just not the smartest people. in the
Do we
game.
know anybody who
Well,
could
we're just
start
on a different
electricity? Do you
timeline.
know anybody that could do it?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty smart, and I would be just like, well, I guess we'll just use fire forever. Could I start a fire? Unclear, but maybe I could.
We could probably
I
start
think
a
I
fire.
could start a fire, and
think
I
we
think
could
I
start
could
a
build
fire.
a building, at least like some kind of shacky.
You
kinda-
could build
like
a shelter.
A shelter, maybe not a building.
We could put together some shelter.
I could do a shelter. How do you make?
I
a
don't even
window?
know- I don't
How
even
do you
know.
Make a window.
Fuck do you make glass? Who the fuck thought of making glass? Glass?
I don't know.
That's
Like,
real?
Fuck, who figured out how to make glass?
A fucking see-through physical thing. What?
I don't know how you make glass.
Come on,
What's
man.
it made from?
Now,
It's,
I
there's-
just can't
well,
even
there used
think
to be
about
lead in
glass.
glass, right?
I heard it was sand. Is that true?
is glass?
I think they make
Who
glass
made
from
glass?
sand.
You know they talk about that beach glass.
There's the beach. There is glass on the beach.
That's
Mhm.
not like bottles. Like
No,
What's-
not like garbage.
not garbage glass.
Right.
Amber's like not like a broken bottle.
It's inside
like
the
this,
sand.
the sea glass.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
But it's not.
evidently
But it's
the-
not see through, is it?
I mean, I guess maybe
like
you could like
bluish.
refine it to be that way.
Wow. Who the fuck made glass?
That's some shit.
Fuck the moon. I want to know about glass.
Well, maybe it was like there are crystals that are. So maybe it was like, oh, okay, well the Earth makes these things, and we found these things that you can kind of see through. Like, how do we?
How do we redo that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think
Look,
I.
I could make glass. Evidently, I've already started on the journey. So.
Yeah, you're a little further than me. No, I don't think I could build a shelter with glass. But I think I could build I could
But if you're the
put
only
some
person,
logs
why do you
together.
need glass?
I don't. I mean, I
No,
don't
you
need
don't
glass.
see outside. There ain't nothing to see.
But it begs your point of
Mhm. Yeah, like
how did we get these lights and this glass and this electricity and
all right.
these
So
buildings
since so now we're coming to a consensus where we
we have no idea.
we don't
I
know.
don't know.
So now, what is the most likely way that we got all of these things? Alien technology or human intelligence?
I don't know, but I think there are aliens. I mean, I know they're
alien
aliens.
technology.
It could be aliens.
Or maybe an alien told a human, like, hey, idiot,
Yeah.
do this. Here's how you make glass. They're like, oh, shit, thank you.
Or, I mean, let's be real, like, the likelihood that there are not aliens walking among us is very small,
Oh.
you know, and they could have been in all kinds of timelines to help create these things that we have that maybe we didn't have the technology or the ability to, like, start down the path.
Mm.
You think there's aliens walking among us?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Earth in itself. I sometimes I think that all cultures are from some other star system, and
I
that
think
we
there
all
are-
migrated to Earth,
Mhm.
and that's why we look different. That's why we are different, but we're all humanoid to a certain extent, similar to what America is. America is a melting pot for the world, and the Earth is a melting pot for the galaxy or whatever.
Well,
and
like-
people pull up.
In the grand scheme of things, like, yes, we look different, right? But we're not that different, do you think, to have come from different planets?
Yeah.
So I think our souls have lived and do live in different places.
Hmm.
And so, you know, though, if we're coming here from a different galaxy or whatever, you know, we're still embodying a human body, right? But we may choose something different because of our experience.
Oh yeah. Really, now that we think about it, if these are just meat suits,
Yeah.
damn. So wait, do you choose the race that you want to be?
Mm-hmm. You
Really?
choose everything.
Damn.
Man, I feel like I would not have, like, chosen.
I feel like I
some
wouldn't have
things.
chosen this body either, but I've been
Like,
told many times.
this is an interesting choice, Jill, but all right.
I've been told many times that I chose the stature, like to be short.
To be little?
And yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I've been told many times that that's what I chose.
Interesting.
But would they tell you why you chose that or no?
No,
Do you ask and they say I can't tell you, or how's it
I've
work?
not really asked that question. I think like my inner knowing knows that it has something to do with needing to be in this physical shape in order to I don't know, like kind of create the confidence that I needed to learn the lessons that I needed to. Because, you know, when you're small and you're female, there are certain things you need to do in order to be seen in the world, right? Because you can very easily blend into the background,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so in order to live authentically, I needed to do certain things in order to kind of like put myself forward.
Mm.
I needed to act in different types of ways than I would have had I chosen a different body or a different stature, a different gender, a different race.
Can you remember any of your past lives?
Yes, I've done some past life regressions.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And how does it feel when you're doing this past life regression? I mean, what do you see?
For me, it's kind of like a movie. Like I kind of well, it's a little more than a movie because I kind of feel like what I felt there, and I've done them myself. Like I've done like my own. You can do like guided hypnotherapy type things
Yeah.
if you can meditate well. Like I think you can. Those guided hypnotherapy things will work well for you. I think for somebody that's never like meditated or anything like that, you're gonna have a real hard time like staying along with it. But then I've also had past life regression done with a practitioner, and you know, I've seen different lifetimes that I've needed to see at that time. Like, I think only what you need to see is shown to you at that point in time in different ways that you...
Was it in the past, like, or was it a...
I have
I mean,
never
can
seen
you-
anything in the future, but
Yeah,
I have
is it
heard
possible,
of
though?
people, I've heard of people that have seen future, or
Oh.
not future by the time construct, but a different timeline. I've heard of people that have seen themselves as aliens, like as, you know, on a different planet.
Jill, would you like to be from another planet?
I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
I know.
I'm scared because Amber's told me about some of her past life stuff, and
Oh,
it's
can
really
you tell us?
powerful.
Let me
I
hear-
don't know
let
if
me
you
hear
want to
something,
share it. I
Amber.
didn't mean to put you, but like I think that it makes me nervous. I mean, it's because
it
it's
makes me nervous too.
it's heavy, and and sometimes like I feel like because we talked about this during our podcast, but like our soul family, right? Like the people that come back into our lives again and again, right? Every single time. And what's been interesting to me about Amber's stories is that there are people that have played different roles in her life, right? And that's why they feel significant in this life, or that's why they felt significant in that life. And I think it makes me nervous to see how that played out for me.
I've heard people talk about how they died in their past
Yeah,
lives.
there's a couple that I know how I died.
Shit.
Yeah. But let me tell you, it's like you hear that and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to see myself die. But you see yourself in a whole different form, first off. Like, it's
Right,
not
because you're not even always the same gender or the
Right.
same, like you don't look the same.
And it's like I said, it's kind of like watching a movie. You're not like, oh my God, like that's so terrible. You're like, oh yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, but still makes me sick.
I
I don't want to say it.
But it's
Damn.
it's quite an experience to.
Can you
dig
be an
into that.
animal in a past life?
I don't know. I'm not.
You haven't seen yourself as an animal.
No.
Have you
But-
only seen yourself as a human on Earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
But all different races too? Or you've only been white?
I've been Native American. I'm trying to think through.
Yeah.
I think that I've been Native American and.
And you've been a man. You've been
I've
a
been a
different
man.
gender.
I've been a man. Now that I'm thinking, there is one past life that I'm not sure what race I was, but I knew I was female. Yeah.
Damn. You don't want to know any of your past lives?
I don't think I'm good enough at meditating to know my past lives. I don't know if a past life regression. I mean, I think I would want to know. I think I always, I think I would want to know because I think sometimes it gives insight into like, why are you carrying the baggage that you're carrying in this life, right?
God, yes.
I know for me, like I read this book, it's called, Emotional Inheritance. And that's more about like the experiences that we inherit from our ancestors, right? Like typically like they talk a lot about that, like experiences skip a generation. So like we are often living out like the trauma and the experiences of our grandparents, not our actual parents, because it's like repressed in that generation and then brought out in the next. And I thought that was really interesting because I thought it gave insight into like, sometimes I don't know if you guys feel this way, but sometimes it feels like I'm carrying baggage that like isn't mine, right? That it's like, this didn't happen to me, but like, why am I acting as if, you know what I mean? It did, or why am I carrying something that doesn't feel like it is mine? And I wonder too, if some of that does come from the past life experiences. So for that reason, I would like to do it. I just worry about my ability right now. I am not good at meditating. I am not good at quieting my mind. So maybe if I got better at it, I would like to do it.
Yeah, I think, and you can do it with a practitioner and do like a hypnosis, like a past life hypnosis type of a thing. Which, I mean...
I see. My worry is that I'm so hypervigilant
that you won't be able
that I
to
won't be
get
able
them.
to be
What's
hypnotized.
hypervigilant? What does that mean?
Hypervigilant just means you're fucking on edge all the time. Like you're just.
It is so hard for me to meditate. I try it. I really think that I do meditate, but I'm always like thinking like, is this working? Like I have that concern that.
Yeah.
Like, am I benefiting?
Is this it? Is this what it's supposed to feel like? Yeah, maybe
And
you're
I can
kind of
only
hypervigilant too.
get there for just a little bit, like where I really let go.
Yep.
Where you drop down.
Where I let go, and I'm like, like really not trying to meditate, but I'm actually just doing whatever it is. But then I'll come back and say, damn, did I benefit? Like I want to know the benefit of shit.
Maybe that's your lesson.
Serious
Maybe
about the
that's your
benefit.
lesson.
Another
Like, damn it, did I get it
You
yet?
gotta let go.
Am I enlightened now?
You gotta let go.
Gotta figure out so much stuff. So how long does it take you to slip into meditation on a regular?
Oh, now I can do it pretty quickly. most, like, if it's a normal day, and it does change, like when I was sick. I didn't meditate those days because I just couldn't drop down in because I didn't feel well, right? Most days it takes me, 3 or 4 minutes to kind of drop down in. And I could sit in that state for an hour or more if I had the time to do it.
What's happening though when you're meditating? Like what is the brain activity? Are you just quiet? Is it thinking? Because I might be meditating and I just don't know what to call it.
Well, and here's the thing. It to me, it goes back and forth. It's like sometimes I've got to let my, like, thinking mind process through things, right? And so I let that chatter happen. I'm like, okay. And instead of trying to fix that chatter, I just listen to it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will normally be like, okay, that's enough. We're done with that. And let's let that go. And I do some grounding. So when I sit down to meditate in general, so I sit on the floor always because that is helpful to me. And what I will do is I will get my arms out real wide like this, like I'm collecting all of my energy from everywhere that it has been, right? And I bring it all in here to the middle. And then I know that I have my energy here, right? And then I will say, I'm ready to receive whatever is needed today for my highest good, right? And so that's how I start my meditation. And then I visualize that I am connected through my crown to the divine, all the way through my body into the earth through my root. Like I visualize that energy going up and down and being enveloped in it. So like I'm in this bubble of this energy. And I do that visualization because that starts to calm my mind and push everything out. Because like in that bubble of pure energy, I don't need to have all of those other things. You know what I mean? And I'm protected there. And that's part of kind of my energy protection, because I told you, like, in the morning, that's when, if there's anything that needs to come through, I invite them during that time. So that kind of sets me up to be like, okay, only what's for my highest good. And then once I can get into the space, I normally will kind of just like, okay, I'm going to bring my guides in. And then I just kind of sit in it and see what comes.
Okay. Oh, so your guides are a part of your meditation too. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know that you have guides to come in and help you with the meditation?
Yeah, I mean, Amber's told me that before, that, and I think, watching like your kind of process and how you do, because I've watched, Amber's read my cards. I've watched her read cards for other people. We've kind of just like talked through our process. So I know that. I don't know that I feel like I'm super in touch with my guides. I mean, I definitely feel like there are certain family members or people in my life who have passed away that I feel like I can still feel their presence here. And then there are others that like I miss and I love and I was just as close to, but they just don't feel here. Like they're here with me. So I don't know if that means that they've like moved on to whatever's next, or if they're maybe not a guide for me. But I don't feel super connected to my guides. No. And then that's just a thing that really, for me, is like kind of a goal, like in these next couple of years, is try to tap into that, to get better at meditating, to get better at connecting, with the people and the beings that I know are supporting me. But my mind is, is very, very busy a lot of the time. So
real stuff. Yeah. Amber says she thinks that we all have the physical gift to be able to tap in with our guides, and so
they want you to. Everybody has. They want you to be connected.
But how do you know that it's not just like your mind thinking these things, and it's like it's for real? Like they are really giving you this message.
So it's something that you have to come to know yourself. Like I can't tell you exactly like what the rules will be, but one thing that I know for certain is that my guides never say anything disparaging to me. Never. And so if what is coming into my head is like, you're being stupid, or something that is mean-spirited, or something, that's my voice.
Real
I know that that's my voice. My guides only say loving things to me. Now, do they say like some
redirect
like,
you though, right? If
they
you're
will
going
say
off track, they'll get you
yes,
together.
but they're never going to be like, Amber, you're a fucking dumbass, right? Like they're never going to say it to me like that. They might be like, now come on, right?
They talk to you in a way that you'll receive it.
Yes.
But it would be, and that's why you can't tell somebody else what their guides would say to them. Because my guides might be like, you fucking up. Like, come on, bro, you doing some stupid shit. Right?
But if they're saying, I guess that's kind of, like if I feel like there's a loving message coming to me, I know that that's more likely to be my guides than something that's coming to me that feels more mean-spirited or like trying to be judgmental or put me down.
Or like rooted in insecurity or
Right.
rooted in,
Right. Right.
But the
And it's
guide should
normally
be
quiet.
correcting though, shouldn't they?
No, because it's your own free will. That's your own voice.
I mean, they would be encouraging in a time where you need to be encouraged and giving you positive reinforcement. But
They're also much quieter than the voice in your head. They're also, I mean, really, like they're also most of the time much quieter and much more, it's like a more soft-spoken way to talk to you. And when you have that mind chatter going and it is so loud, you can't hear them.
I did a guided meditation not long ago. Like, shit, maybe last week. This week might have been. But I felt like they don't, it's I always see it as love. Like I never feel like it's never the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? But like I have an ego. And in order to break through that, you might have to be abrasive a little bit in order to just, bruh, it's for real. It's a serious notification to bring awareness to some shit that you might be doing, and to pivot.
Yeah.
So a guy could do that, right? Or you, yeah.
I mean, they could.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know. I felt like, because mine was I did a guided meditation. I didn't say what the meditation was. It was a guided meditation to reach your higher self or to talk to your higher self. And like, while the meditation was building up on the journey to get there, I felt like my higher self said, bro, enough of that shit. I'm here. Okay, let's get to this shit. Let's talk.
Yeah, so you did it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice.
Absolutely. And it was a for real tap in. Like I got the message. I remembered what it was supposed to be. But it was almost like, like you're always tapped in with your higher self anyway. Not always, but the higher self is around, unless it wouldn't be your higher self.
Right.
But the speaking to the higher self, the taking the time out in order to like really get this understanding of what's going on or where you need to be, like that don't happen all the time.
Yeah. And it takes practice. You can get quicker at tapping into that the more that you practice and the more that you get familiar with that voice and the more that you get familiar with the sensations that happen in your body when you hear that voice. To where like if you are like faced with something going on and you're like, I don't know what to do, you can take that deep breath and kind of like, okay, I can move forward.
Right.
Well, and I think it takes like some, at least for me, like some humility too. Like you have to like admit like maybe I don't know what the next right step is. Maybe I don't know what the solution to this problem is. Like I can think of one time where I was just, it was about a year ago, and I was just feeling like really puzzled on like what to do next. And I don't know, I read something or I pulled a card or something that was just like ask spirit, ask your guides, ask, you know what I mean? Ask your higher power, your higher being to tell you what it is. And I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? I should be able to puzzle this out, right? But I just like closed my eyes and I was like, I have no fucking idea what to do. Like, I truly feel lost. Like, tell me what to do. And then I started like cleaning because I'm like freakish about cleaning, and I was like reorganizing my closet, and then it's like all of a sudden like the answer just dropped into me when I wasn't even expecting. And so I think there's like, and I am not always in that space of humility where I'm willing to say like, I cannot puzzle my way through. I do not know the answer. So I think you also have to get out of your own way to hear the message also.
Yeah.
And know that when you ask, like you said, it's not always an immediate response.
Right. Like, I think I got lucky. They're probably like, this bitch, you know, will forget that she asked this, right, in a couple days. Like, I got to tell her quick before fucking she gets distracted. But yeah, it was probably like an hour or two. But probably sometimes it's like a couple days or a week or, you know, months or even. But it was, and like, that's how, like, I do know I'm not good at meditating, but sometimes like answers will come to me and like my gut will check in and my intuition will check in and I will say, I know this is the next right step.
Right.
I don't know what the end game is. Like, I don't know what the whole answer is, but I feel confident that this is the next right step.
Right.
And
That
I have to
happened-
believe. Yeah.
That happened with me when I changed my name.
Okay.
Real shit. I wanted to change my name, but I didn't know what to change my name to. And like, I knew that my name, like Ahava, is like a weird name. It don't sound traditional in no way. But I thought that if I changed my name to something that did sound traditional, I thought that would be like equally kind of like weird. Like, let's say I changed my name to Thomas or some shit. Like, what the fuck did you pick Thomas?
Right.
So I figured I might as well pick something that meant something to me. But I was a little concerned about my family, how they would take it. Because finding my father was alive, like I thought, should I take his last name?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I would be disrespecting him not to.
Right.
So all of these things was like in line. And then my family my father's a Jehovah's Witness. And the rest of my family, they're not as spiritual as me in any way. My sister kind of is, but she's like new coming into spirituality. Like I've been doing it for a while, much longer. So I was kind of like, damn, I think they're going to think that I'm Muslim or just some different shit, you know? And it would be okay if I was, but it would still be just like, they would be like, damn, you Muslim all of a sudden? So I was thinking, like, I came with my name and all of that other shit. And then that day, my sister called me. She was the main person that I was like focused on. And she called me and she was like, oh, I love that name. She gave me the confirmation and the courage to go ahead and do it. But I wanted that sign. And I think I may have even asked for just a sign.
Like, let me know this is the right thing.
Yeah, let me know that this is cool, you know? And man, when she said that, it was so good to me. I was like, damn, thank you. She was like, I want to change my name. Real shit. And when she said that, like, she was letting me know that it wasn't, like, not only did she think that it was straight what I was saying, but saying that she wanted to change her name, that gave me the extra comfort that I needed to know that she not just saying it in order to just, you know, just to make me feel okay. Because I was going through all type of shit, like finding out my father was alive and da-da-da. It was like a big thing in our family. That's that's a milestone definitely in life, you know. But yeah, that was important. So I think similar to what you're saying, like getting those answers to what we're looking for.
Well, and it's such a nice feeling too. Like, so often I feel like I don't always feel sure that like the step I'm making is the right step. But when you do feel that like alignment and that, you know, that confirmation or affirmation, I love that, right? You just feel stronger. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you almost like sit up straighter. You're like, no, like this is the right thing moving forward.
Yeah.
But when shit happens like that, do you think it's a coincidence though?
I don't know.
See, I'm so skeptical.
You're so skeptical.
I'm a number 7. Do you know your life path number?
3.
Oh, you're 3? And what's your middle number, your birthday?
What's your birthday?
26.
26. Oh, that's 8, 2 and 6, yeah. But mine is 7. My middle number is 7, and 7. I'm always looking for these answers. Like the reason why I'm interviewing you is just like, let me find out why shit is the way that it is. And you're close. Like you can talk to the dead people and shit.
Amber
So I'm
is
like,
close. She's
oh
closer
yeah,
than all
I
of
got
us.
it today.
It's good
I'm
to
gonna
like stay
find
close
out.
to her so some of it rubs off
I'm
on
gonna
you.
find out all the answers to my question, but 7 is always seeking these answers, and I got a lot of intuition, but then I'm also like skeptical of myself too, like skeptical of the things that I think that I know, like, and of other people's information. That's why I can always question people about their shit, because I'm like, oh, really? Why?
I
There's
know
an
you landed
endless
on the
fucking
moon. People that always
endless
ask
why.
why stress me out so much.
There's a fucking
I'm like,
endless
I don't want to know.
why
I
can
don't want to
oh,
know why. I don't want to think
shit,
about
man.
it.
Why can go on and on and on.
And why used to be a question that I hated when people asked me, and like I would immediately like just switch into because I said so. Because do you not trust me?
Yeah, I pull that
like
shit
I
all the
would
time.
just jump like straight to like the defense. Like, why are you questioning me? But now I just get to a place when people ask why, I say, if I don't know, I say I don't know, or I say, because that's the way that I'm choosing to do it, and and just I let it be that way. I'm like, I'm not going to get into this with you.
It's not. I don't think that I go into like a disbelief with people on the shit that they tell me, because I listen and like shit that sounds right to me. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, but it's not even what they're saying to me, but it's just my fascination on just wanting to find out the system that we're living in.
Well, yeah, you're like a picker aparter. You're like, let's go deeper. Like, tell me why. Why do you think?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
people like
and
me, I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, just cut.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
People always gotta tell me.
Oh, my
"Motherfucker, I don't
brain.
know."
It hurts
Okay,
too much
shut
to
the-
think like.
I told Amber, I said, look, when you get ready to leave, just tell me, because I'll talk to you forever and shit.
Chat. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that this has been like definitely a good podcast. We didn't even have to drink any tequila, and we talked the whole time.
Yeah, Amber and I are good at talking.
This
Yeah. Yes. Me and
This is
Jill
our
can
jam.
talk forever too.
We could talk for literally probably a whole day without stopping.
Shit. But we still didn't find out what we're doing here on Earth.
No,
What
We'll
an
never
actual
know.
fuck
I
are
don't
we
think we're supposed to know exactly. I think we're all just supposed to kind of like move through here, try to raise the vibration, and see what happens.
like I feel comfortable about like how I should play it, right? Like
Right.
what I should do.
Right.
But the
Right.
why, I'm like, I have no earthly idea.
Yeah.
Well, and, we chose this timeline specifically, right?
Right.
Like we were
I also
like,
like,
I
why?
want to come back at this time. Like
I'm
I
like-
want to go during this.
During this hellscape, like why now? Why this body? Like why this crazy
But
ass
also,
brain? I have a
like,
lot of questions for me why I would choose
Right.
this.
No, I don't know. I don't know why we chose it, but
But here
I
we are.
feel like I've learned lots of lessons already in this lifetime. I feel like there just are things that I've had to
Yeah.
unpack. And I think there are things that probably just looking at other lifetimes prior, I wasn't learning the lessons that I'm learning now. Like I can look back and say, like, I probably was positioned to learn this and I didn't do it then, and that's why I need to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of my a person that reads for me tell me one time that this time, me coming into this lifetime, I was clearing out like all of this like karmic debris around relationships. And at that point, I think I'd already been divorced twice. I was in a weird situationship. There was like all kinds of things happening. I mean, like my life has really just been like one relationship after the, and not just like romantic relationships, just like all relationships in my life. Like have just been a mess. And I'm like, Jesus, Leah, did I just like line up all these people? And I'm like, I'm just gonna 1, 2, 3. And she was like, well, it looks that way.
Mm-hmm.
But now I finally, and I know now, because my partner that I have now, and Joe can attest to this, when I started dating him, he's very different than anyone I've ever been in relationship with. And I knew, like, internally, I knew, like, this is what I need to be doing. This is the person I need to be with. And I really had to like lean in and start learning some lessons quick in order to be able to stay in the relationship, because like truly Amber, like what, 5 or 6 years ago, could not have been in a relationship with David. Like he would not have tolerated my wildness then. You know what I mean? So, but they were lessons that I needed to learn. It wasn't like I was changing myself in order to be in relationship with other people like I had done before. It was, I am becoming more of my authentic self in order to be in this relationship that is, you know, that is whole and good. And so,
Do you, I mean, with relationships though, should you conform to other people's expectation, or should
No.
they just meet you where you are?
they should meet you where you are. They should meet you with, I mean, I think there are some things in relationship with other, in all, you know, all relationships, obviously, where you learn from other people and you're like, oh, I wish I was more like that. And so you start doing the unpacking and you're like, I'm going to learn this lesson and be more like that. Because the thing is when you desire something, it is because you can have it and you should have it. That's why you desire it. You don't desire things that you don't have access to. So if I look at a characteristic in someone else and I'm like, I really would like to have that, then I'm able to do that. I'm able to work on myself and get there. So if I'm in a relationship with other people, I might, you know, I wouldn't call it conforming. I would call it growing, right? Because I'm learning from them. But if they're coming to me and they're like, Amber, I'll be in a relationship with you if you quit reading tarot cards because that freaks me out. I'll be like, no, bye.
Right.
Like,
Right.
done.
Yeah, I think you can't ever, like, I think some people in relationships, all different kinds of relationships, will challenge you to level up, will challenge you to grow. But then there's also people that will be like, this piece about you I don't like. So, like, you have to be able to level up and grow without abandoning yourself.
Right. And I think you level up, and sometimes in relationships, and I've found this more times than I would have liked to, but where you do level up in the relationship, and then you level up to a place that's good for you, but can no longer support that relationship anymore. That person isn't leveling up. And so now there's a conflict there and you have to part ways.
Yeah.
Yes, that you've
Outgrown them.
outgrown them. And I think, like, I've experienced that before, where the person I was with, like, he is the one that I think inspired me to grow, like, truly. But in doing that, I outgrew him,
Right.
Damn.
which
Yep.
sucks.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. But I
That's
mean,
wrong.
Yep.
it is what it is,
Yep.
you know?
How would you outgrow them?
I mean, I don't know. I just did. Like, this was just a relationship where like I feel like I'm pretty like, I feel like I'm a pretty smooth operator. Like, I'm kind of I can be like kind of manipulative. Like, I can typically like run circles around people. Would you agree? I can.
Okay.
And I don't anymore. I mean, I try not to. I try not to.
Oh, shit.
But I did
Do
for
it
a
with a
long.
purpose.
Yes.
Now you can do it and use it purposefully when you need to.
But when
for the highest
now,
good.
yes, and now when I care about someone, it makes me sick to do that to them. Before I did it to everybody because I fucking could, right? And it's also a protective mechanism,
Yes.
right? Because if I'm
Yes.
working you don't really see me,
Right.
and that's real comfortable for me, right? Because like being seen is like my least favorite thing to do. But yeah, and this was the first person I ever dated that saw right through my bullshit. And he was like, "Why are you fucking manipulating all the time? Like, why are you always lying? Like, why are you always scheming? Like, why are, you know what I mean? Like, why aren't you being honest?" And it caused like some conflict, right? And then we ended up breaking up, and losing that relationship was really tough for me. I mean, it was really hard because it was the first time I think that I ever lost something I really wanted because of my own behavior. And that caused me to level up.
Yep.
But I think I leveled up to a place that he could that it's like I don't know, because I don't want to rank where people are, right? But it's like I leveled up to a place that, like, because I circled back to him to say thank you, because I think he deserved like a thank you for that, to be like,
Right.
Thank you for calling me out on my bullshit. Like, thank you for being like brave and courageous enough to have like honest conversations with me and like give me critical feedback, right? And we had that conversation and it was really good. But at that point, it really felt like spiritually and energetically and vibrationally, like he was still doing shit that I'm like, I'm not
Right.
interested in all of that. But if not for him, I would not have leveled up, but I still leveled up without him. I don't know how to describe it.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It's true. That can happen.
Yes.
That definitely can
And I
happen.
think that, like we talked
You can
about
learn a
before,
lot from a dummy.
Yes.
that brightness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you get brighter, as your energy vibrations get higher, those people that are still at that lower vibration, they
They hate your brightness.
don't like, and they try to pull you back down, not out of like, not like
No, not
trying
to be malicious.
yeah, not vindictive or malicious or anything like that. They just don't understand. They're like, why are you doing that? Come back down here where it's comfortable for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're brighter and you're looking at them and you're like, oh no, right? And then it just
But
goes apart.
could you help the person who helped you?
You could, but sometimes
They're not
want it.
ready.
If you're both, if they're looking at you like, please come back down here, they're not ready. They want.
How much time should you spend helping somebody who you love before you get away from them?
That's a good question. We'll ask the wise one that.
As well,
Don't
The
ask
answer
me.
is
I'm like forever. Sacrifice your whole life.
no,
You ready to go.
me, it's like as much time as doesn't deplete my energy.
Yes. Until you feel like you're dying inside.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it till I feel like I'm dying
Oh,
inside.
sorry.
I'm going to do it up to the point that, like, if it is taking over my ability to live in my authentic truth because I need to do something to help you, and I don't like to really. If I'm like reaching down to help pull you up or to help you with something, and it is taking away from
It's sinking you.
me, then I'm not doing us any good. I'm not doing either one of us any good, because if
kinda
I get back
It
down
sounds
there,
bad, don't it?
it does. But
Okay.
But Amber's let go of that codependence. I think I can be kind of codependent. That
no,
way.
Well, I don't think
and
it
here's
is
my
code.
thing: if I can stay shiny, you can at least look and be like, oh, you can follow along without me dimming my light.
Mhm.
I think to me that's the difference. If you need to be patient with someone and help someone, you know what I mean, and kind of try to help, be like, hey, come on with me, right? Because I love you, right? And you're like my person or one of my people, right? That's one thing. But I think where I start to lose that is when if that person becomes resentful of your light, right, of who you are, then I think that's a clue that like maybe it's time to stop. Like if you're like, come on, like let me stay with you, let me be patient, let me wait for you to get to my level, right? Because we're all dealing with different shit, whether it's like age, grief, maturity, you know what I mean, whatever. And if they're like, I'm coming, then cool, like let's wait. But if they're like, why are you like that? Why are you shining so bright? You know what I mean? I think that's where it starts to fall apart for me.
Yeah.
When that resentment comes in.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody is hating on your elevation, I understand that. But I think that if you are in a relation, let's say that like you guys both start off at the bottom. And then along the way, you guys are kind of like learning different shit, but y'all still like right there together. And then you just hit a lick. Like, let's say that you got a better job than them. Like you making 100,000, they're making 20,000. All right. Can you still stay with a person like that, or you did outgrow them? Yeah.
No, you can stay with a person like that as long as you both can be energetic matches. If that person is excited for you
And supporting you.
and supportive, but if they're
But
feeling
I'm saying money.
right,
If you're making a lot more money than a man,
I've been
Do
in
you-
that situation.
okay, and how did it work out?
I mean, eventually we got divorced, but he was making more than me when we got divorced. So
Okay.
it wasn't a problem. And I think it was more of
What makes a good man?
a good man. How about a good human?
No, I mean, well, okay, but a human is one thing, right? But I'm talking about somebody that will be able to, that you will be attracted to, the characteristics that you find most appealing in a good man.
I mean, somebody that's going to allow me, and not allow is the wrong word, but I use it because that's kind of how people see it, that is going to be okay with me being
You.
me.
Yes.
Yeah. And is not going to try to dim
so.
my light.
Real shit.
And not even just gonna like tolerate it.
Right. Is going to be there to support it. And then is also going to take care of their own shit. Like, don't come to me to do your energetic healing that you are supposed to be doing for yourself. Like, we can support one another from two stable places. But I've been in relationships with people where it's like, you know, I'm the caregiver. Where it gets down to the point where it's like, am I your mom or your wife? Like, what's happening right now? Right? And that becomes very unappealing very quickly.
Yes.
And creates just a dynamic that is it's not healthy.
Right.
It's not healthy.
Well, a 2 and a 6 is like a motherly instinct. That's like a lot of nurturing. And then 6 is too. 6 is a nurturer, like community and family. So people are drawing that energy from you.
Yes.
And that's been my whole life. Like, you know, even being a small child, my parents were divorced when I was like 3, so I don't ever remember them like living together, and they both remarried. And the relationships that I had with my parents were very different. They were very different people in the ways that they lived their lives, and there was a lot of like energy vampire shit going on even from a very young age, from not only my parents but extended family, who would like tap into just all kinds of things and make, you know, and when you're a little kid you feel important, right? You're like, oh, I feel important because these adults think that I am, you know, that
I can
need
handle
to
all
do
this.
these
Yep.
things, right? That are adult things.
Your energy waves a sign that says, though, I'm here to nurture.
Yes.
I'm here to help you.
Yes.
And even as a little kid, that was what was happening. And
So it's, I'm telling you, though, that you have a sign on you that says, I'm here to help you.
and that's why I have better energetic boundaries now.
People are coming to you
Yes.
for that. You're a
Yeah.
social worker.
Yeah.
You can't get away from it.
Yeah.
And even in a relationship, too, people are going to like start to lean and fall into your nurturing. You're asking, you like that is part of what you do throughout your whole life. And then you said you're a number 3. So, okay. So that's communication and creativity. Okay. So maybe that's why you can communicate with people that passed away in a creative way and be able to detail it. But just your whole life, that 2-6, you're going to run into people who are like looking for a caregiver.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I found them all. I found them all.
Real shit.
Yeah.
And now finally I am in a relationship with someone who does not expect that of me, though I think that I still do that to some degree. It's not the expectation. It's not the expectation that I am the caregiver. And I feel like he is just as much a caregiver as I am. And so there is a balance there. So it's not, you know, all stilted on me in that relationship as it had been before.
You think like
Which is
everybody
nice.
comes to you and asks you for stuff all the time.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jill? Do people lean on you a lot?
Yes.
Do they?
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, so I'm the oldest. I am the oldest in my family of me and my brother. I'm the oldest on both sides of my family in terms of cousins. So I feel like I've done a lot of like, you know, just like mentoring and taking care of. And when you're the oldest, I think particularly an oldest girl, everybody's like, your job is to take care of them, right? Your job is to make sure that they don't get hurt. Your job is to make sure
be
that
their
everyone
lucky
is good.
parents.
Your job
Real
is to be
shit.
their parents because we
Right.
want to go have a nice time and you're older than all of them so you can watch them, right?
Right.
So I think I have this almost like compulsive obsession with like making sure everybody is okay. Like even when I arrived here today, like, cause I have a relationship with you, right? And I have a relationship with you. And I feel like this, like, I need to make sure they're doing okay. Like, I need to make sure they're communicating well. Like, let me, you know what I mean? And I have to constantly roll that back.
Right.
Because I think from the time I was born, my job was to make sure Like literally, I have like vivid memories of them being like, Jilly, we're going to go do X, Y, and Z. Like, make sure your brother and your cousins don't get hurt, right? You need to watch your brother and your cousins. You need to make sure nobody drowns in the fucking pool, right? Like, you need to make sure, like, you know what I mean? So I just am constantly like, when you talk about hypervigilant, like, I'm always like watching. And I think now I'm in a space, just in my career, where I think I supervise a lot of people. And I think there's a lot of people, Amber can attest to this in the field, that see me as like a mentor and a resource.
Yeah.
And just the number of texts and calls I get in a day. I have a question about this. How would you play this? How would you do this? How would you do that? Amber does it. Everybody fucking does. Everybody's like, what do we do for a client like this? What do we do with somebody who's facing that? So, yeah. So I feel like I give and I give and I give and I give.
But what do you guys do when you need some relief, or you need some guidance, or you need something? You need a resource.
Yeah, I don't know. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Sometimes I do that.
Yeah, but who do you go to for help? Like, everybody comes to you for help. Do you have, I'm not asking you to name a name, but do you have somebody that you go to just, or what, y'all do it with each other?
Sometimes I go to Amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amber's one of my people. And my cousin, who's my best friend, I feel like she is like the one person that I can be like the ugliest, realest, craziest version of myself.
Real shit.
And she has to love me no matter what. But yeah, no, I mean, I would say that's, I think I don't really feel like there's a lot of people that I can rely on. And, like, just if we're being honest.
Right.
I don't. I mean, my parents have never been that for me. I do a lot for my parents. We can't post this on YouTube in case they ever see it. No, I'm just kidding. But like, they, like, you know, sometimes like there's certain things, like my mom, maybe my dad, useless, but my mom sometimes, you know, there's certain things that I'll be like, hey, I'm having a hard time. Right. But no, I don't really feel like there's very many people in my life that I can.
I don't have a ton, and I feel like it's changed over time. Like in this stage right now of my life, I think that right now I could go to my mom for more things than I've ever been able to go to her before. I think, you know, right now, obviously I have a teacher and a mentor that I would definitely go to if I was having a hard time with things and needed some guidance there. And then also, like, I think that, you know, the further that I get in my spiritual journey, I feel more comfortable sitting with it myself and asking my higher self for that guidance, opposed to having to find it externally. And I feel comforted by it now in a way that I didn't before.
Yeah. You have the answers to all your questions. You
do. You just have to trust and be willing to tap in and listen.
Who do you go to? Do you have anybody you can go to? You strike me as someone that answers everybody else's problems and questions.
One person. Nah, I got like my bros though. Yeah, like I can call and just complain about shit, and they go through the same type of stuff. So I don't know. I don't like. I don't know. I always feel like if I'm just complaining or feel like I have to express some bullshit that's going on, I kind of look at it like, all right, I do understand this, but it's just a part of life for right now. But I always feel like I got a problem with a lot of shit. So, you know, like always, I'm serious. Like it's always.
I'm the same way. There's always a problem with me too.
Right. Every day. Like I can't even sleep because I know I need to wake up and come to work, and just, it's a lot of effort. Life is a bunch of effort, man. Isn't it?
It is a lot of effort. However, and yesterday and today I meditated, and yesterday I kind of had a vision of moving into a new, I don't want to call it a timeline, but just kind of like into a new arena of my life. And it was shown to me as like coming out of a cave in a boat. And you just need to sit You don't need to paddle. You need to allow this flow and this current to take you. Even if it's scary, even if it moves fast, no matter what, you need to sit and trust and let it move you and not put forth as much effort. Because that is the place that I used to be in, where it was the grind all the time. And let me try to control everything. And I am going to hold onto this paddle so hard, and I'm going to dig it down into the sand and stop this boat when I'm afraid. And I'm going to, I know that the current is going this way, but I'm going to like row backward and try to go the other way. And it was like, if you will just sit in the boat, you will get there. Can that work? You will get there. You're like, and I feel like the more times that I do it, the more, and it doesn't mean you do nothing. It doesn't mean you do nothing.
It's the surrender. It's the surrender versus like, have you guys ever seen that meme where there's a guy and he's got like that old school, like, like that janitor mop, like when somebody threw up, like the big yellow bucket and like the big mop, and you like mop up the water and then you like squeeze out the water and then you go mop it up. There's this meme that shows this man with that same thing and he's mopping up the ocean, right? And like, and like he's like putting the mop in the ocean and like squeezing it out and like trying to mop up the ocean. And it's like just me trying to control the things I can't control. And that's, I think that's such the perfect metaphor for like what, the divine sees you doing when you're trying to like stop the current fucking it's just an effort and futility, and everybody knows it but you, and everybody knows it but you.
People can tell me their problems and they can be so serious to them, and I'll just look at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You think that's a problem? It's the easiest solution in the world, and you are serious about this shit. Like, why are you serious? And now I guess I need somebody to like look at me and tell me the same things.
I wish somebody would tell me.
People
about
like
myself.
Worry about the dumbest shit. I'm serious. Like, I don't know. People come to me with their problems sometimes, and I can just solve everybody's problems in 1 second. Like, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Even with myself, though, I think that I always come through in the clutch. I think I put myself in situations just so I can be clutch and overcome. You know what I mean? I dream up these scenarios.
You create your own chaos so that you can control it.
Right. And at the end, I'm the hero.
You're like, look at all this control I have.
Like, look at the Most High. Came through for me. Yeah.
I feel like that's like a weird, like, crazy piece of me. Like, I love to like, sometimes like right now I'll look at my calendar and I'll have like 3 meetings all at the same time and I'll be like, let's just fucking see what happens. But I think that's some kind of fucked up piece of me, right? Like, I love like the drama of it, right? Because it does always work itself out.
It works itself
every
out.
time. Yes. And sometimes like I'll be like the day before I'll be like, all right, I'll cancel one of them, right? Or like I'll do something, but sometimes I'm like, let's just see.
Right. Yeah.
But that can be kind of a dangerous, like, adrenaline-seeking kind of habit.
Things work themselves out.
Things work themselves out, right? But I think some of us like to, like, ride the edge of the cliff a little bit more than other people do. But
it's that pause. It's like sitting in the pause when like, problem is presented, and you're like, I could jump in and fix that problem. Not my problem, but I could jump in and fix that problem. And sitting in the pause and learning how to sit in it longer and longer to watch what happens. Because you'll get the confirmation if you watch what happens enough times, because it just fixes itself. You're like, shit, I didn't have to do anything. And then you remember that. And so every time a problem is presented, you're like, I know that I can fix that, but I won't do it right this second. And, 10 minutes from now, I can go fix it if it's still not solved.
The pause. Well, I think sometimes you have to pause and be like, this is not necessarily my problem to fix.
Right.
I used to think that every problem was my problem to fix. Like, your problem was my problem to fix, and fucking your problem was my problem to fix, and your guys' problem with each other was my problem to fix. And so I think that's a big thing for me in the pause, is to say, like, is this your problem? Is someone else's discomfort your problem to fix?
Do our astrological signs have a way in how we act in our personalities and stuff?
I mean, I think so, only because it does seem like other people, people with similar astrological signs have similar characteristics, but I'm not an astrologer. And I know there's like so many variations there, right? Like so many planetary.
You got to do your whole
That's
birth
true.
chart. Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because Amber's a Gemini. You're Gemini, right?
Damn.
I'm Leo, Virgo.
I'm Leo too.
What's your third one? Because you have your moon, your
sun, your moon, and your Mars.
Mars or your rising.
Your rising is not your Mars. Your rising is your one on the other side.
I don't know. All I know is
I'm
mine
a
are like
Sagittarius
all
rising.
Leos and all
Let me
fucking
see.
Virgos.
Mine is I'm
Which
Leo.
we
My
found
Leo
out.
is the sun and the moon for me.
I'm a sun and moon Leo too. Weird.
I feel like, and I
Right.
think David is a Cancer sun and moon.
Oh,
I get along.
David is the most delightful Cancer that has
Yes.
ever. I love a
Yes.
Cancer. My mom's a Cancer.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
a chill sign.
it is. It is, and
We
I
should
think
all
I
hope
get
to be a
along
Cancer.
better with people in general that have their sun and their moon the same.
Interesting, because there's some consistency there.
Yeah. Their internal and external are consistent.
I was born at
What time were you born?
11:42. No, 46.
PM or
11:40.
AM?
What
But-
time is that?
9 something. 9:39.
Okay.
You were born in the PM or the AM?
Damn.
Oh, you were almost an August 8th.
Damn. I
8/8.
was born. Damn, I was trying to find my chart to figure out what the third one was, because I know I texted my sister and told her what time I was born. But
Yeah, no, mine was, I finally did mine, and I was Leo, sun and moon, and then my rising was a Virgo, which I can be pretty Virgo-y. It just means a lot of it just means wallowing in a lot
I
of
got like
feeling.
3
I
Leos
was
in my
married
chart.
to-
That
Though.
doesn't surprise me.
And I'm
You're
life
pretty
path
Leo.
number 1 too.
Mm.
So like Leo number 1, the sun, all of it is like right there together. And I see all of that for me. Like I don't have no type of all this stuff that I read about like Leos, it fits me perfectly.
Yes.
Number 1 fits me perfectly.
Mhm.
Like all of it. That's why I'm like, damn man, I think some of this stuff is true.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
Which Enneagram? Did you figure out which Enneagram you thought you were? Have you looked at them all yet?
Nah. I looked at 4 to try to figure out if I was a 4, but
I don't think you're a 4 based
You
on
might
what
be
you
a
said when
7.
you read the.
You might be a 7, the same as your life path number, because I'm a 3, the same as mine.
Ah, Amber is a 3.
I'm a 3 too.
I have
Or
a
am I
3
a
wing.
2-3?
your
You're a
life
3
path
with
is
a
what,
2.
Jill? 9?
9. Well, that's what you told me. Yeah, 9.
9. Did we add it up?
You did when I was here. I'm like,
I
word
don't
on
know
the
about
street
my
is that I am
math.
a 9. I don't really know. Yeah, I think I'm a 9. And then I think I'm an Enneagram 4. I'm a Leo. I know my Myers-Briggs, ENFJ.
I don't know my Myers-Briggs.
So really, a Enneagram is just a way. It's another way of categorizing
Categorizing, yeah.
people.
And
Same as like a
Enneagram,
Leo.
yes. Enneagram speaks to your what motivates you.
What motivates me?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I was thinking that it was more like, I guess, what motivates you. But I thought that it was like,
Well, because
like,
you
why do you complain down there?
you read about the 4, which is like the angstiest Enneagram in the whole fucking world, right?
Right.
The 4 is a lot. No, yeah, Enneagram's all about motivation. So it says that you're either motivated by fear, by anger, or by shame.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that, it refines a little bit more. Like Amber is a 3-wing too, which is she's like an achiever, right? Like she's motivated by
It's
like
a helper and a...
Yeah.
I don't remember.
yes, and then the 2 is the
So I think
helper
it's
piece,
The helper and the... Yeah, maybe.
and it's like the achiever and
It's been a minute since I've done it.
I thought that it to me, it would seem like what fucked up shit happened to you in life in order for you to be the way that you are.
Right.
And like, it
And-
kind of
and how
like
did you
how you
react
want
to-
people to see you. Like the, I mean, you know, like how you want people to empathize for you almost. I don't know. I might
I
have
think you
been
got to
just,
watch
like,
other
throw it
ones
off.
besides the 4.
Yeah.
The 4 is like the craziest Enneagram of them all.
And you thought that was me.
I did think it was you because you were saying a lot of things that like reminded me of me. I'm like, fuck, maybe he's the Enneagram 4, but I don't. But your reaction to it makes me confident that you are not an Enneagram.
Yeah.
I think you might be a 3.
But I do have parts of 4 that I heard that I was like, oh yeah, I can see that, you know, like, but I think we all are made up of a little bit of all of these
Oh, we
things,
can all
right?
see them. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I think the Enneagram's cool. But yeah, I mean, I like them all. I love a personality test. So
But you know what I figured out? Like, I love fours.
you like a 4?
I
Angsty
like
four.
helping. If somebody goes through any type of tragedy, I am there for them.
That's good.
Like, I might not never come around your whole life, but at the moment where you are like in some serious trouble, I'll be right there until you get back straight. And then you might not see me, but when you're fucked up, man, I'm right there. Like when people are about to pass away or something, and I try to go around to just like lift them up.
Yes. I've sat with several family members dying. And
Y'all wasn't even really that close. Like, you don't go around them nearly as much, except for when they was about to pass away, or
Some people can't handle death, though. So if you're a person that can handle death, like I'm a person that can handle death. Like when my grandma was dying, like everybody's a fucking basket case. I'm like, why don't you all go to lunch and like I will sit with her.
Right.
And I'm like, Grandma, get out while the getting's good, right? Like all the maniacs are gone. Their crazy ass, chaotic, deranged energy is out of the room. Like, yeah, some people can handle death.
Yeah. I like that's I shouldn't say I like it too, but
Some people are death doulas, like they're good at
but
it.
I feel like that's something that I could do very easily to help people cross, because I've done it with my own family members and just, you know, had those conversations with them as they're passing, and I feel very confident in doing it, like, you know, and it feels, I don't know, it feels helpful, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think some people are good at it. So my mother is a fucking wizard with death. Whenever anybody dies, I'm like, call Pam. I'm telling you, this woman, so she's a nurse in the ER at Children's and has been the entire time I've been alive. So like 35 years, this woman has worked at Children's Hospital, and she has always been like the person, like the point person when a child dies, and she sits with their family and she like provides all of that grief support. I mean, my mother in death is a rock star. She always knows the right thing to say at a funeral. People that don't even know her.
I can't talk at a funeral.
People that don't even know her hug her. My mom gives these like deranged hugs in like a sad time where she like holds you close for like way too long, but like people love it. And like I'm telling you, my mom in a situation of death is incredible. She would be the best death doula ever. And I think because of her, like I learned how to do it, right? But some people can't handle death. Like some people can't do it.
man, people come in here and get memorial shirts.
Right,
there
you
are
have to
people
do
that
it
passed
every day.
away. And I just chop it up with them the whole time. And we like build, and I make all of these creative art pieces. Like, I mean, we put them on their shirts, but man, like they got sky backgrounds and all type of shit that just make them feel like, sending messages to the people that passed away. But when my grandfather got out of hospice, sweet as fuck, and
Like,
went
he,
and
like-
passed away at home. My uncle took him to hospice.
Like to the actual like physical hospice,
Yes.
like on Wayne Avenue.
Yes.
Took him there.
Yes.
And they're like, he is fine. He needs to go home.
Yes. And I like I don't know if I talk
He
about
like
this in my
defied
book.
hospice. That's wild.
I'm gonna
Look,
rally longer
okay.
than normal.
Look,
Go.
so when they took him to hospice, he had no business being there to me. But I felt like my uncle, not like my uncle might have knew better. Like he because he was like my grandfather's caregiver, so he might have knew better. But to me, I was like, no, my grandfather was still just like alert, damn near. And one day I came in and he was completely like just he was sleeping like fucked up on medicine. And I was like, what is going on here? And so I got the nurse in there. And my grandfather couldn't talk or nothing at this point.
Because they had him so sedated. Because that's what they do at hospice.
I said, hey, my grandfather was just cool yesterday. Now, why is he like this? And the nurse they gave him a bunch of fucked up medicine. And the coolest thing happened. Like, I was checking the fuck out of this nurse. Like, but I wasn't like being ghetto about the shit. But I was telling her this was some bullshit. And after that, she left out the room. I said, did you hear that? My grandfather said. That was the hardest fucking thing ever. They took him off the medicine
And he
and
popped
he
back up.
fucking popped back up and went home.
That's crazy.
Realest shit ever.
Well, you know, and hospice is weird because, like, people begin to transition,
Mm-hmm.
and then hospice, like, low-key speeds it up, right?
Real shit.
And you think about it, and I think we speed it up for our comfort, right? For those, because like some people will transition over several weeks. It took my grandmother, the one that just passed away, about 8 days to die, which is a long ass time in the scheme of hospice, right?
Right.
But then I had to think, because you know, every day I'm like, oh my god, like and we know she's transitioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, why the fuck is it taking so long? But it's like, no, that's about me, right? Like some people might take 2 weeks, some people might take 3 weeks. Your grandpa clearly took, you know what I mean?
It was
several weeks.
taking a while. And
Yeah.
my grandmother, man. My grandmother was there for a long time. But go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but it's not about us, but like our like capitalist American grind culture of hospice is like light these people up on fucking narcotics so they low key overdose. I mean, that's what we do, right? Is
And
we
starve them to death. They don't
we
feed.
literally starve them to death. We dehydrate. Like they would say
Right.
things like, and I did like where it's like, don't give them any water because
Right.
the longer you give them water, the longer they live.
Right.
And we know they're dying, right? So I think you see both sides of it where it's like, we don't want to prolong the agony, right? But we also like, if they're thirsty, we should fucking give them water. And I think,
come on.
drink. They
and I
should be
think,
able to
but I
drink.
think sometimes we want to speed it. Our hospice speeds it
Right.
up for our comfort, not
Mm-hmm.
for their comfort.
For their own capitalist shit, because that's a bed, and the next person can come in there and pay
Well, and
for the
hospice
hospice
is
care.
free. Let's not forget, hospice is the one healthcare service in this country that is free.
Oh, really?
Hospice is free.
So they
no
don't.
matter your insurance, private, Medicaid, Medicare, uninsured, there is federal mandate that says hospice care is free.
Dang.
So of course we speed it up, right? Because these fuckers ain't getting, you know, these medicines for free for no reason. But hospice is the one healthcare service.
So
that
do
is
you
free.
think hospice gets granted any money for each person that comes through there, or they're just they just have a budget?
No, they get reimbursed. They get fully reimbursed by our tax dollars for hospice.
Mm,
There is no like copay or anything for it.
okay.
Yeah, hospice is totally free.
Is hospice privately owned, or that's
So hospice care is a certain medical billing code, which requires no copay if you have private insurance, in which like Medicaid, and requires no copay if you have Medicare, right? Because Medicare comes with some copays. But yeah, if you have private insurance or Medicare, there's no copay associated with hospice care, and Medicaid is free no matter what. So, yeah, hospice is the
I didn't
only
know
thing
it
that's
was
free.
free.
Yeah, I took a death and dying class in college, and I learned that hospice.
I want to
is
go
free.
over to hospice and do Reiki there.
I know. I think Amber should go do Reiki on the people. When my grandma was dying, they had a chaplain that did Reiki on my grandma, and she fucking loved it when she was dying.
I want to go there and do it.
And my grandma was a super spiritual lady, so it made sense that she liked the Reiki.
Yep. Granddad got out of hospice,
That's
and he
wild that
wanted
he
to do
busted
that.
up. People want to die at home.
Yeah, he wanted to
I
do that. He
think I
kept saying,
would
"I'm
wanna
going
die at
home. I'm
home."
ready to go home." My grandfather was saying shit like, "I'll be in here for a couple more days, and I'm going home," because he didn't realize he was in hospice to die. And so I'm like, "Damn, Granddad, like you think you about to leave out of here, but bruh."
He's like, watch me.
But I fully believe that he was gonna get out of there too.
So he went home. How long did it take him to pass away at home?
Probably, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay,
Maybe
so
a
he
month.
lasted a while.
I would like to know exactly how long, but yeah, it wasn't like the next day or nothing.
Wow.
Good for him.
My grandfather was the nicest person, bro. Like I want to be like my grandfather so much. One time when he was in the hospital and we was talking about something about fighting. He said, "Man, I ain't never been in no fight." I said, "What?"
He's never been in a fight.
He said he never. I said, "You never been in a fight your whole life?" He said, "Nah, man. What I'm gonna be fighting somebody for?"
I love a gentle
I
spirit.
was like, "Damn, you are the coolest person ever." He never got in a fight. I told my cousin that. He was like, "Man, hell nah." He said, "I seen him hit Granny before." I'm like, "Stop! Don't fucking try to steal his shine," you know.
You're like, stop it.
But nah, man, my grandfather told me that. I was like, damn. And he said it in such a matter-of-fact, cool way that it was like, what? He said he never been in a fight.
I've never been in a fight.
See,
Have you ever
right.
been in a fight? Have you ever like fought somebody? I mean, I've had a client like try to hurt me, but like,
I've been attacked by clients. Yes, not in a fight. No.
But I've never been. Although one time I did get really mad at this girl on I was shit faced, and I got so mad at this girl on New Year's Eve. It wasn't as long ago as I would like it to be for this story. It was probably 2018, and she was just. Long story short, like. She showed up at this party. She was being fucking crazy, and it was my party. And I was like,
Yeah.
It was at the trolley stop. We had rented out the room, and I was like,
Was it me?
it wasn't you. You were not being crazy.
Mhm.
And I went up to her, and I was like, hey, you are too much, and like nobody wants you here, and you need to get the fuck out. And she's like, well, so and so invited me. I said, well, it's my party, and I didn't invite you, and like
Right.
you need to leave, right? And I was like, I was a little like bitchy, but I wasn't like aggressive.
Yeah.
So she like starts crying and she leaves. Good. Then she starts like trolling, like she starts sending me like shitty ass Facebook messages, and I'm like ignoring it, right? And then we go to Tumbleweed, and I'm just like trying to have a nice time, and this little bitch is just like sending me these messages.
Mm-hmm.
And I look up, and she's across the bar looking at me, sending me these messages. And I'm like, well, if she has something to fucking say, then she should just fucking say it to me.
Oh.
So I went over there,
Here we go.
and I was like, if you have something to, you know what I mean? And I'm like a pretty tall girl, right? And she was kind of little. And she's like standing there, and I am like in heels, because it was New Year's Eve when this happened, and I am like right here, like in her face. And I'm like, if you have something to fucking say, like fucking say.
Oh.
And the guy I was
He's, like,
dating
really
at the
about to
time,
fight.
like he was like very like fancy and like kind of rich and and I just like got a little trashy, right? And he's like, you're kind of freaking me out, and he like dragged me away. But that was actually the only time I ever got close to getting.
And
into
it was a
fight.
public fight too.
Well, yeah, because it's like if you have something to fucking say, you're over here like staring at me across the bar, like
Right.
get the fuck over here and
Right.
say it to me. But that's the only time. But I didn't like throw a punch or anything. I might have, but I was stopped. But otherwise, no, I've never been in a fight.
Damn, even as little kids, never fought.
No.
Wow.
I had a
Fucking
the bar in the
100,000
Oregon
fight.
district. I threw something at a girl on the dance floor. Well,
And it
she-
got on you? Amber?
No, I threw it at her, but she was standing over near where we were sitting, and she was part of a bachelorette. She might have been the bride. I don't know, but she was part of a bachelorette
He
party.
was drunk, Amber?
And she had on this
Amber
penis
can get
necklace.
super rowdy.
She had on this penis necklace.
Oh, I
for
hate a
bachelorette.
penis
Do y'all want
necklace.
some of this?
No.
No, I'm good.
And she
I've had a lot of
something, and the necklace burst, and it shot everywhere, and these penises are flying, and they like hit us on the table. And it was my birthday, and I don't know why I had these like dice that were like this big, and they like lit up. Like if you hit them, they like lit up. I don't know why I had those, but so that happened, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I just took the dice, I was like, chucked it at her, and then one of her, not her, it was one of her bridesmaids came over the table and like wanted to fight me, and I said, well, go outside, I'll be out there. And so she goes outside, and I went to the bartender. I was like, that girl out there is trying to fight me, can you keep her from coming back in the bar? And then we'll let her back in.
Real shit.
Yeah,
That's-
but no, I've never been. I wouldn't know what to do if somebody fought me. I'd probably just like take the punch. But.
Oh, no. Fuck.
Have you
Why
been
are
in
you
a
so
fight?
angry?
Huh?
Have you been in a
Hell
fight?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to fight a lot when I was like a kid before fighting probably even mattered. But like, yeah. Hell yeah. I've been in high school. I've been suspended for fighting. I got into a fight. My mom died, so people used to talk shit and be like, your mama, and then we would just fucking fight. Then with my brothers and sisters and shit, hell yeah. Y'all never got into a fight with y'all's. You fight your brothers and sisters
My
way
brother and my sister.
When you're an oldest, I don't feel like
Yeah.
you do.
Well, my brother's 9 years younger than me, and then my
I got in a fight
sister
with my older
is
brother,
12
probably.
years younger than me.
Yeah,
So,
your
like,
siblings are
it
a lot
would have been like the wrong
would have been
thing to do to fight.
They were younger than you or older? You're older.
Younger. I'm the oldest.
like almost
You're
a
oldest.
decade younger. Amber's
Yeah.
Amber's basically like an only.
Right, no doubt. But
Yeah,
nah,
no,
I
never
bet
got
I
in a
done
fight
got
with my
into
siblings. I don't think I ever hit him.
shit. Me and my son just got into a fight. Not that long ago, like last year about this time. Nah, a little bit after this, about almost after New Year probably. in here in the store. And this is my best friend. I love him so much. And he was fucking under he just was tripping this week. He got in a fight with me and his sister and like everybody. But
I think
this shit
sometimes
happens.
fighting is healthier in families than just like repressing and pushing it down, which is like what my family does.
But it takes some work to get back from that.
Does it?
Hell yeah, because after you fight, you like, man, like I don't fuck with you no more. But me and him, like my son, I love him so much that I felt like he just had a bad week or a bad little like,
time.
and then yeah, but I wouldn't hold that against him, not for that long. But it did help. It pushed him to be able to go and get his own place because he was living with me. I mean, it was him and then his son's mom, which is my grandson, and my grandson, and then he worked for me, and just so everywhere he went, I was just like a figure there. You know what I mean?
Needed some independence.
And he don't got a problem with that, but I thought that his girlfriend, she's been around me her whole life. They met because they both worked here. And so it was kind of like I was just a boss to them. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't need to be no fucking boss. Like, and that shit was getting irritating. So it happened, but yeah. I mean, we didn't take it too far, but yeah, it's definitely a fight though.
Wild.
After you get into a fight, you're always like sore and shit.
I bet.
I like if I trip over my feet, I'm sore. Like I couldn't imagine somebody hitting me.
Right.
Yeah.
That should be wild.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
Let's go.
I know it's late.
Real shit. Well, that's been this podcast.
Happy podcast.
Later.